2023-2024. 3, the committee should further give a categorized breakdown of each hospital asset, its respective insurer, and the corresponding financial commitment. Fourth, the committee should give a list of hospital assets that remain uninsured, if any, and an explanation of the reasons for their non-insurance. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee should give a description of the measures being implemented by the county governments to ensure that all hospital assets are adequately insured against any potential risks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Morango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the government's failure to purchase locally produced rice in Mwea, Kirinyaga County, which has resulted into accumulation of over 5,000 metric tons in storage facilities. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the criteria and process followed in approving the importation of rice into Kenya despite the existence of a stockpile of locally produced rice, specifically the 5,000 metric tons in Mwea. 2, whether there were prior consultations with the Minister of Agriculture, the Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC, and relevant farmers' organization, particularly those in Mwea, before the importation of rice. 3, whether an assessment was conducted to evaluate domestic rice stocks prior to authorizing the importation, and if so, the committee should provide the findings of that assessment. 4, the reason why the government supports increased rice production through subsidized inputs, yet fails to secure a market for the resulting surplus. And lastly, the measures being taken by the government to protect local rice farmers from market distortions caused by the imported rice. Signed by Senator Morango, Kirinyaga County.
Senator Haminda Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is regarding threat of antimicrobial resistance and its deadly impact on child health in Kenya and across Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of national concern regarding the public health threat posed by antimicrobial resistance, AMR, particularly regarding its impact on child health in Kenya and across the African continent. Mr. Speaker, sir, a recent global study has linked over 659,000 child deaths in Africa that occurred in 2022 to antimicrobial resistance infections, with Kenya identified among the countries experiencing a surge in the use of watch and reserve category antibiotics. High-risk drugs that should be used sparingly. The sharp rise in usage has been attributed to weak regulation, misdiagnosis, and inadequate diagnostic capacity, posing a significant threat to the health system and national development. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, a status update on the national antimicrobial resistance surveillance systems in Kenya, including the level of functionality and coverage across the countries. Coverage across the counties. Number 2, measures implemented by the Ministry of Health to regulate the prescription and use of watch and reserve category antibiotics, particularly within pediatric and primary care settings. Number 3, whether Kenya has developed or implemented a national action plan on antimicrobial resistance in line with World Health Organization recommendations, including in current status. Number 4, initiatives in place to strengthen the diagnostic infrastructure, enhance the capacity of healthcare professionals, and raise public awareness on responsible antibiotics use. Finally, targeted interventions and investments made to support antimicrobial stewardship programs, especially in county health systems, and the impact of reducing misuse and resistance. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want to allow very brief comments for 15 minutes, and then we proceed to statement and standing under 58. Senator Maureen Tabitha. Senator Beatrice Akin.
Mr. Speaker, yeah, I was waiting for the mic. Thank you. Allow me to start making a comment in regards to Senator Eddie Okech's statement as far as the issue of the status of insurance coverage for hospital assets is concerned, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you know, it's very important for assets to be insured. And the hospital is a very critical space whereby its assets need to be insured. Because in the event of any damage, then the insurance would definitely very much come in handy and be able to either replace these machines or whichever, depending on the terms that they have agreed with the client. Senator Okech has narrowed it to Migori County in regards to the question of how the county has ensured that all its medical equipments are insured. Mr. Speaker, this is a concern that does not only affect Migori County, but cuts across all the 47 counties. Where we are, in Nairobi County, where I represent, Mr. Speaker, we have so many hospitals, both private, both public, but now narrowing it to the public hospitals, it is important for hospitals, through their management, to ensure they factor in the budget of insurance for these particular equipments, so that these equipments can continue running, and it also makes it safer for the management in the event of any damage or any loss of this particular equipment. It's very important for there to be continued service delivery in these hospitals. The factor of insurance for the assets is very, very important. Insurance should not only be to the human aspect, but also to this machinery. The way we all adhere to ensuring that we insure our motor vehicles, among our other assets, Mr. Speaker. Just quickly, Mr. Speaker, on the statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana in regards to the rising threat of the antimicrobial resistance and its deadly impact on child health in Kenya and across Africa. Mr. Speaker, this country, one of our greatest weaknesses is on the issue of data. We are not doing so well when it comes to data collection, because we should get a detailed report from the Ministry of Health as far as these issues of the resistance antimicrobial is concerned. And she has narrowed it to the children, because today in the world that we are in, we have so many antibacterials that have become so resistant. And if we do not move with the current times, as far as the getting the antimicrobiotics and all the medicals, that are needed to be able to fight these particular diseases, we will not be safe and will not be offering a safe space for our children, not only in Kenya, but across Africa. So because I sit in this committee, Mr. Speaker, I will champion to ensuring that we get the right information and the quick feedback that is needed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I said we do brief comments under 3 minutes. Senator Oburu Odinga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will be very brief. And I just want to make a statement, to comment on the statement sought by Honorable Okech on the issue of insurance of health facilities in his county of Migori. But, Mr. Speaker, this is not an issue of Migori alone. This is an issue which is spread countrywide. And, Mr. Speaker, there are people working in the public service who don't understand the importance of insuring public properties. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, you find that in a country like even mine, the hospital itself does not even have a title deed. They don't even care to get a title deed for their the hospital, the county hospital. And Mr. Speaker, ensuring public assets is very, very important, because if you don't insure it, some people say, oh, do I care if anything happened to it? It is the government which will pay. But that government is you. It is the people who are going to pay. People are going to pay something which they should not have paid for. The insurance should have compensated them for. And therefore, when the committee is investigating this matter, it should be taken very seriously, and it should be across the board to cover almost all counties, because this is a principle which many, many counties don't want to follow, and they don't want to insure public property. Sometimes even government vehicles are not insured. So you find that people take public property not seriously. They think that this is something which belongs to the public. And Mr. Speaker, that's all I wanted to comment, and I want to stress the importance of covering public property, particularly health facilities, with insurance. And the committee should be very thorough in doing its work on this particular one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana Danson.
Mr. Speaker, I want to make a quick statement on the statement by the Honorable Senator Hamida. Mr. Speaker, indeed it is true that there is a very great concern in the health sector about the rise of antimicrobial resistance. This includes antifungals, increasing resistance to antifungals, to antibiotics, and antivirals. This whole group is put together as antimicrobial resistance. Mr. Speaker, what this means is that the normal medication that we use to treat our colds, our coughs, the normal medication that we use to treat when we get cuts and whatever, if, Mr. Speaker, there is resistance to treatment on these organisms, then we are headed in the wrong direction as a country. Mr. Speaker, as the committee looks at this, they should investigate the role of public information in public campaigns. People have created a habit of buying over-the-counter medication. They take a few antibiotics for 2-3 days, and then they don't complete the dosage. They are never informed about the dangers of not finishing the antibiotic course. And then we have a problem because these antibiotics become resistant, Mr. Speaker. I think the committee ought to look into this. What is the role of public health information services within this country? What can the director also do to help, especially within the counties that are on the far place areas like Tana River? Mr. Speaker, may the committee also investigate also how this is infecting our animals, because for us who come from counties that keep animals. Also, this is a growing concern that treatment, resistance to treatment is becoming a real concern, because some of these animals, Mr. Speaker, again, the same problems like in humans, incomplete dosages, lack of information, lack of proper diagnosis. Mr. Speaker, I pray that the Health Committee will properly engage so that our people can benefit. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beatrice Akinyi, or
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to support the statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana and the statement by Senator Eddie Oketch. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is regrettable that our people are getting a lot of resistance from the use of antibiotics. And especially, Mr. Speaker, it is painful that she's brought up the statement, especially on the impact of child health in Kenya. But, Honorable Speaker, the resistance may not only be limited to children. All of us, all the age groups might be getting resistant to the use of drugs. But the question I ask myself, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that where is the public health department that deals with prevention, the preventative arm of health, Honorable Speaker? This must have been foreseen. And, Honorable Speaker, this could be aggravated by the use, by the fact that most patients buy over-the-counter drugs in the various chemists that we have all over the country. Mr. Speaker, I keep on asking myself why it is allowed that people can purchase antibiotics from chemists and they use them, Honorable Speaker. That kind of usage, Honorable Speaker, must also have led to the resistance that we are talking about. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this, and this must be looked into. Honorable Speaker, on the statement by Senator Eddie Oketch, it is unfortunate that our county governments are not particularly even about his Migori, but all of our county governments do not ensure some of these facilities. Mr. Speaker, it is in good governance that our governors and the executive look into ensuring some of this so that we are able to forestall losses in the event that anything happens. Honorable Speaker, I support these statements and I thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Senator Morango James.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, ningetaka kuunga mkono ombi ambao limeletwa hapa na Senator Hamida. Mstahiki Speaker, ninapoongea sahihi, mimi ni mmoja ambaye ameathirika na hili njanga ambalo dawa zinazotumiwa zinafika mahali zinakuwa haziwezi kutibu. Kwa sababu either zinatumiwa vibaya ama zinatumiwa visivyo. Mstahiki Speaker, zile madawa ambazo zinatumika kuua bakteria katika miili yetu, either iwe kwa wanyama ama kwa binadamu, ikitumiwa venye haifai ama itumiwe zile wanaita generic zingine, zinatuletea matatizo. Lakini pia tuko na taasisi ambao husika ambazo zinafaa kuhakikisha kwamba dawa ambazo zinaingia nchini ni za hali ya juu na zikitumika zitafanya kazi ambazo zinafaa kufanya. Mstahiki Speaker, kwa sababu umuhimu wa dawa ni kuponya, umuhimu wa sabuni ni povu. Kwa hivyo kama dawa zinazokuja hazifai, binadamu akizitumia zinawaadhiri, taasisi zinazohusika kutoka Wizara ya Afya zinafaa ziwajibike na ziseme ni kwa nini. Na ya mwisho, Mstahiki Speaker, ninatachangia pia taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator wa Migori, kwa sababu utaangalia sana gatuzi nyingi zetu hawana haja sana na kuhakikisha usalama wa zile machini ambazo tuko nazo katika mahospitali. Kukiwa na moto utapata ile hasara tunapopata, na pia kuna ukosefu wa pesa ya kuhakikisha kwamba zile machini amerudisha tena, inakuwa ni kubwa mno. Kwa hivyo kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna hasara, serikali za gatuzi zinafaa zihakikishe kwamba zimechukua mbima kuhakikisha kwamba kukiwa na janga lolote hakuna kupoteza zile machine ambazo tuko nazo katika hospitali zetu. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kisang William.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to make comments on the statement by Senator Fomikori. Honorable Speaker, you'll be surprised when we get reports from the Auditor General from the counties. Honorable Speaker, it is pathetic, and we are not even surprised. All the counties, almost 100% of them, Honorable Speaker, they have not insured the medical equipment. They don't even have paperwork in terms of titles, logbooks for some of the property they have, Honorable Speaker. There is no even valuation. They have not even valued. They don't have any valuation role or even a fixed assets register, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is important to ask the governors to do valuation for the assets they have, insure them, because, Honorable Speaker, as colleagues have said, if by bad luck a building gets burned down, what will happen? And we don't have resources. The resources are scarce. So they're supposed to insure so that they can be compensated by the insurance companies who will have taken the underwriting, Honorable Speaker. This is something that they need to do urgently. Maybe as a house we need to get a motion so that we can do a resolution to compel them to do asset valuation, get the paperwork for the buildings, for land. You can imagine some of the hospitals, Honorable Speaker, they don't even have title for where the hospitals are sitting, Honorable Speaker. By bad luck, somebody can decide to allocate themselves. You know, you can get some rogue governors and allocate themselves some of these land, Honorable Speaker, and it is serious. I want to commend also the one by Senator Hamida, Honorable Speaker. It's also important for us to be disciplined. The problem also, we lack discipline as Kenyans. Why are we going to the chemist and buy antibiotics without prescription? This is basically also a lack of discipline. We need to be disciplined, and we need to teach our children from early childhood, from ECDs all the way primary school and secondary school, so that by the time they become adults, they love some values. The reason why we are buying these things directly from chemists without even seeing the doctors, it's because of our values, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Abbas Sheikh Mohammed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to also join my colleagues to support the statement by Senator Hamida. Honorable Speaker, actually, what is happening in this country is a very unfortunate situation. The drugs are just being bought from the counters. Even antibiotics and the controlled drugs are not being controlled. And therefore, it has actually been abused over time. And as a result, I think there's a lot of resistance now for drugs, that some of these people cannot even be treated when they have, kind of acute sickness. Honorable Speaker, equally, it happens in the same way, the way it's been done by the human being. When animals are being treated, some of these people use by police. They use the drugs the antibiotic meant for human being to administer it to the animals. And as a result, this one goes to the meat and the milk, and the same meat and milk is being consumed by animals, by people. And as a result of that, people get, drug resistance, and drug abuse has come. I think it's high time that we should not leave this thing to a settlement alone. We need to have a bill now to at least have a drug control and drug abuse control. However, at the same time, Honorable Speaker, I want also to join, support Senator Morango's statements that this country has now turned out to be a consumer country, and that we are seeing, we are even importing milk, eggs, from outside the country. Our farmers actually are getting unnecessary competition, and they are not able to even sell their products. They're like the eggs and meat and milk. Even corned beef now is being brought from outside the country. And therefore, we are losing a lot of market. Instead of, we are now getting everything from our neighborhood, East Africa, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Kenyans are only becoming consumers. We have become that lazy, that we are such a lazy society, that we are not even farming our farms, being left idle. With those few remarks, I beg to support. Okay.
Your Honor, Senators, Senator Ndamo Lekina and your team, I'm not able to see my members properly. Senator Ndokech.
There's a problem, yes, leader. You should raise it.
Our system is not working.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this side, the system doesn't seem to be working. We have been queuing and we are not getting the attention.
How did I see that you are queuing?
My eyes. I think my eyes were curious to speak. But, Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, I want to thank you, and I wanted to make a quick comment on the statement by the Senator of by Senator Murango. Mr. Speaker, there is a big problem in terms of the price and in terms of mop-up of rice in our country, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I hope that the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries will actually take this statement very seriously and be able to look at the issues that are affecting farmers in Mwea with regards to the criteria and process that affects their pricing of rice, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've seen this even in Migori County, where the farmers of Lower Kuja in Nyatike constituency, Mr. Speaker, the farmers there are working very hard, but you find them every single time. Even today, if you go to Lower Kuja, Mr. Speaker, just the same way as people in Mwea, you'll find that they've got pile and pile of paddy that is not being bought, despite the fact that we've got a number of government institutions that can first buy paddy and second can also buy rice. For instance, the deal that we have with the Kenya National Trading Corporation, Mr. Speaker, is a deal that should be able to help these farmers be able to have their rice mopped up by the relevant institutions, Mr. Speaker. Right now, Mr. Speaker, the farmers in Nyatike have to sell their paddy to people who are coming as far as Uganda, despite the fact that these are rice that are subsidized by our local resources here from government, Mr. Speaker. And one of the biggest things that I hope that this committee will look at is quick payment to those farmers. Because the delay of payment, Mr. Speaker, when you go and give, for instance, your rice to Kenya National Trading Corporation, and then they want to pay it 3 months later, Mr. Speaker, when people who come from Uganda can come and pick it and pay a lower price, but pay immediately, it becomes a problem, Mr. Speaker. So the issue of payment is something that must be looked at, Mr. Speaker. And most importantly, also, the subsidy in the input for rice, not only in Mwea, but also for the people of Migori County who are producing rice. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the issue that has been raised by Senator Hamida, Mr. Speaker, I think is an important one. And I think that, Mr. Speaker, on this particular issue, I hope that the statement, this committee, can go and look at the inappropriate use of antibiotic in animals that people are eating in this country, Mr. Speaker. The treatment of animals that form the basis for food that we eat in this country are a big contributor, Mr. Speaker, to this AMR problem, Mr. Speaker. But also the issue that my friend Senator Kisang has talked about, Mr. Speaker, on just the misuse and overuse of antimicrobials, Mr. Speaker, where people are just getting antibiotics from every mushrooming chemist shops that we have in the country, Mr. Speaker, is something that must be looked at, and a proper assessment must be done, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, as I support the two statements.
Senator Chute Mohamed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm being interrupted here by Munyoro. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to support the statement.
What is your point of order, Senator Abbas Sheikh?
In order for Honorable Speaker Chute to call the Honorable Senator Minjoro Dangwa, I think he should apologize to that level. This is the Honorable Senator Dangwa. No, it's not a compliment. Yes.
Unfortunately, my ears did not capture that one of Munyoro, but the Chute can clarify what he said. I did not hear that.
If, Honorable Speaker, you didn't hear, that means Abbas has a problem with his ears. So, Honorable Speaker, the statement by Senator Morango. You know, consumption of rice has increased in this country. The consumption is 1 million tons per year. What Kenya can produce is only 230, Excellent. Mr. Speaker. And what Senator Morango is talking about is the stock that is now in the stores. And what the government should do is to, and the government has promised to buy everything that is in store in Kirinyaga County. Honorable Speaker, this country has a deficit of 770,000 metric tons. And I want to ask Senator Morango to appreciate also what the Kenya Kwanza government has done. Kenya Kwanza government, Honorable Speaker, have increased the production of rice from 190 metric tons to 270 metric tons. And this production increased mainly because of issues of fertilizer, cheap fertilizer, and also dams that are being built in this country. Honorable Speaker, by 2032, according to Kenya Kwanza government, we'll be having sufficient rice for Kenyans, especially people from Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit. These are normally our staple food. And this is due, Honorable Speaker, to efforts by His Excellency, the President. Mwache Dam is being built, which is in Kilifi. Tuchi Dam, Embu.
You send point of order or point of information?
I don't want him to inform me for now, Your Honorable Speaker.
You want to be
I want to conclude. I want to conclude because of time, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
So, Honorable Speaker, there is PPP. Honorable Speaker, there is PPP on Galana Kulalu, which is now.
Yes, Senator Mohamed Faki, what is your point of order?
My point of order is that Mwache is in Kwale County, not Kilifi County. You are misleading the House, Senator Marsabit.
That is point of information which I have refused before. So go and check your facts very well. Honorable Speaker, we have Sioi Dam, Tuchi Dam in Embu also, and this is going to increase production from what we are currently having, 270 tons to maximum of 1 million tons. Honorable Speaker, I want Senator Morango to go slow and wait for another 5 years to see what this Kenya Kwanza government will do. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted also to comment on the statement by Senator Eddie Okech about the insurance of the medical equipment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a time a statement was raised by the Senator Kisii, that is Onyonka, about disappearing of medical equipment, that is ultrasound, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if that disappearance of the equipment, people is suffering because of there is no ultrasound in Kisii Referral Hospital, Mr. Speaker. If the governor has insured the equipment, he will have replaced and people can benefit, Mr. Speaker. And secondly, I wanted to comment on the statement of Samia Hamida on the antibiotic drugs, Mr. Speaker. That is caused by the overuse of the drugs and also buying drugs over the counter, Mr. Speaker. And also misdiagnosed by some doctors, Mr. Speaker, which leads antimicrobials doctor. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Senator Dangwa Paul Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I am Paul Karungo Wathangwa, the Senator of Kiambu County. And Mr. Speaker, I don't have a problem when Senator Chute refers me to Wamunyoro. We are happily associated with Wamunyoro and all the people. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on the statement that was requested by Senator Eddie Okech, who is also goes by another name, Gisheru. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to county insuring the hospital equipment, there is a big problem, Mr. Speaker, because what happens is that they budget for the monies, Mr. Speaker, but they never insure those equipment. And when that happens, Mr. Speaker, we ask questions, where does the money go, Mr. Speaker? And it's not only for the equipment, even ensuring the civil servants or the county workers, and especially in Kiambu County, Mr. Speaker. And I requested for a statement here on the floor of this House in 2023 to the Health Committee, and I've never gotten a response, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to know, why did the county government of Kiambu take all the insurance, health insurance, from NHIF then, which is SHA today, to a private entity called MOA, Mr. Speaker? I've never gotten that response, Mr. Speaker, because the people of Kiambu, the workers of Kiambu County, they are suffering because the private insurance company is not insuring every medical aspect of their bills, Mr. Speaker. So there is an issue that, as we look into this issue, the chairman for health, the one you referred the statement to, they must also answer to the floor of this House. Why would we allow counties to insure their workers to a private entity, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, in regards to the health issues, Kiambu is also suffering, Mr. Speaker, because of the ongoing doctor strike, Mr. Speaker. And I know you saw it in the social media, on your TV, that a father lost his child, holding his child in a hospital called Igagania, Mr. Speaker. And sometimes we are blaming the doctors, yet it is not the doctors who are to blame. It's the government that is not paying them their salaries. It's the government that is delaying their salaries. There is procedural transfers, Mr. Speaker, from these doctors. If you are seen that you are not answering good, you are not giving good answers to the governors, you are transferred to a health center. From a health center, by the time you settle, you go to a level 2, from a level 2, and all that, Mr. Speaker. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, we should look into all the issues affecting workers within the hospitals, Mr. Speaker. And again, as I conclude, there is disinfectional health insurance scheme, the one I just talked about in Kiambu County. Kindly, Mr. Speaker, order or tell the chairman for health to give me my statement back or to answer to my statement. I don't know what is happening, Mr. Speaker, and I do not want to cast aspersions. Because for 2 years, I haven't received a response from my statement. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, in my early communication, I allocated 20 minutes for statement hour, but I have realized that the senators sitting on my left, their system was not working. So I want to give just 2 senators from this side, Senator Ososi Gonfli and Senator Sifuna. Then we go to the, what is it, Senator Seki? Both of you and Senator Mutina just raising hands like, I don't understand. Senator Ososi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on the statement by Senator Eddie Okech regarding insurance coverage for hospital assets. Mr. Speaker, this statement, I think, is emanating from audit queries before CPIC committee regarding the issue of plant, property, and equipment in our various hospitals, where most of those properties or assets are not insured. And there are various reasons why that has occurred. One is that some of these equipment are leased equipment. So I think it's important for the committee to dig deeper into this matter, to look at the leased agreements and see what it says in regards to maintenance of those equipment and insurance for those equipment. But Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the committee to go beyond looking at insurance of assets. They also need to look at the ownership of assets in our hospitals. Mr. Speaker, we have audit queries on the issue of ownership of hospital assets. Some of the hospitals in our counties do not even have land titles, Mr. Speaker. The titles are either owned by the defunct local authorities, or some do not have a title at all. For example, Mr. Speaker, yesterday Garissa appeared before us, and we were surprised the Garissa Referral Hospital does not have a title, a land title. This is a serious issue that the committee should look at, and not just the insurance aspect only. They need to look at the status of ownership of all the assets. We are talking about equipment, we are talking about land, we are talking about building, we are talking about machinery, and we are talking about even motor vehicles, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious issue. The committee should actually bring back to this House a detailed report on ownership and management of assets in our hospitals. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this statement.
Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wanted to support Senator Eddie's statement on insurance coverage for hospital assets. Mr. Speaker, this story, of course, it's the same story of the medical equipment, the mess. And I always keep on saying mess is always messy. And when you bring such statements, actually, they don't go through. I don't know why. I had a statement for the mess equipments for the last 2 years, and it has not gone through yet. The insurance is important for these facilities, Mr. Speaker, especially looking at the theft, looking at the breakdown of facilities, looking at the consequential loss insurance, Mr. Speaker, is important. When we visited Kenyatta Hospital, we realized many equipments, equipments are not functioning. And like what Senator Mariam said, that if only they were insured, then we would have replacement of these equipments, Mr. Speaker. Even in the ICU in Kenyatta Hospital, you find equipments that are not working because maybe they were not insured. And if they were insured, then we would have had replacement of such. It is very sad. And those counties, I really want to encourage the Committee for Health, or maybe the Public Investment Committee, to look into this matter. And also, I also want to support Senator Morango on the rice in Mwea. The Pishori rice in Mwea used to be our pride in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. But unfortunately, it's not the case nowadays. It's unfortunate that there's no motivation with the farmers. I remember the rice, we didn't have to push for any market, but we only had to, everyone used to scramble for the Pishori rice in Mwea. But then now, unfortunately, the Pishori rice, regardless of how much, it cannot be sold. I don't know where the issue started, but, it's both also the Ministry of Agriculture to motivate the farmers, Mr. Speaker. Then I also encourage that the government should protect local rice farmers from market distortions caused by imported rice, Mr. Speaker. the imported rice, that's what we go for, unfortunately, nowadays. So immediately the farmers are motivated, then they will up their game for the quality rice, and Kenyans, of course, will scramble for the Pishori rice, Pishori Mwea rice again. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Last but not the last, Senator Seki Renku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this great opportunity that you have given to me. I also wanted to put my voice to the statement sought by Senator Gishiro, Senator Migori, on the issue of the insurance of medical equipments in our hospital, Honorable Speaker. This is a very important statement that has come on the right time when we have a big problem in our hospital, particularly even Kenyatta National Hospital here in Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, just a few days ago, we had a problem in Kenyatta Hospital where we have a breakdown of a chemotherapy machine, and most of Kenyans have really suffered on this issue. So this statement has come the right time to sort this problem on issues of maintenance, issues of servicing of these machines, and when we have an insurance cover, to cover these big machines that may not be replaced within a shortest time possible. The insurance, the counties and the hospitals, general hospitals like the Kenyatta National Hospital need to provide a mechanism where they insure these medical equipment so that people will not suffer. I am sure most Kenyans are suffering because of failure and breakdowns of these machines that are not found just as soon as the management want. So I do support this statement, and thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Senators, Senator Fatuma Duro, you have a personal statement and standing under 58. Yes, Majority Leader and Senator Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to issue personal statement on the inappropriate and disparaging remarks made by Honorable, I don't know whether to call him Honorable Abdi Ibrahim Hassan, Governor of Isiolo County on 1st June 2025. Mr. Speaker, this statement that he has made is all over social media, and I don't have to repeat because, Mr. Speaker, I am rising pursuant to Standing Order 58 to make personal statement regarding the inappropriate disparaging remarks made by Abdi Ibrahim Hassan, Governor Isiolo County, during the Madaraka Day celebration in Oldonyiro Ward, Isiolo North constituency on 1st June 2025. Mr. Speaker, as a senator, my constitutional responsibility is to serve the people of Isiolo County, uphold transparency, and ensure accountability in all county government operations. I am constitutionally tasked with exercising oversight over county government functions to safeguard the interests of the people of Isiolo County. The responsibility has come with great challenges, including inappropriate attacks on my character designed to deflect attention from the legitimate governance concern that I raise from time to time in the House and also at the county level. Mr. Speaker, this statement has been repeated twice because the first one was last year where...
Senator Nduro, can you just read the statement which has been approved? Because there is a reason why...
I wish to bring to the attention of the House that during the recent Madaraka Day celebration in Oldonyiro Ward, Isiolo County, Isiolo North constituency, the Governor of Isiolo County made deeply inappropriate, sexist, and defamatory remarks about my person. The Governor made crude and vulgar insinuations that are false, malicious, and constitute a clear example of misogyny deployed to discredit women in leadership. Mr. Speaker, since the loss of my husband, I have conducted myself with dignity and continued to serve the people of Isiolo County with unwavering dedication. The residents of Isiolo County know my character and can attest to the diligence, committed, and honor I have demonstrated throughout my years of service.
Just a minute, Senator Kajwang and your team, kindly allow
Mr. Speaker,
to read a statement.
what
in
makes
silence.
this incident particularly gracious is that the personal attack occurred during Madaraka Day, which is meant to commemorate our nation's progress and address legitimate concerns. During the celebration, community representatives raised critical questions about patterns of promising and delivering on development projects, specifically highlighting concerns about education relief and mismanagement of county funds. Instead of responding to those genuine concerns and legitimate demands for accountability, the governor chose to deflect through character assassination and resorted to sexist insult. This represents more than just an attack on a woman. It is an assault on women in public service and every sphere where our voices challenge the status quo. These tactics are designed to humiliate and silence us, discourage accountability, and maintain systems that resist democratic participation. Mr. Speaker, I would like to state categorically that such conduct has no place in our democratic discourse and demonstrates profound disrespect for the office of the governor holds and the people he serves. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I wish to reaffirm my unwavering commitment to serve the people of Isiolo County with the dignity, transparency, and accountability they deserve, and no amount of political bullying or character assassination will deter me from my constitutional oversight duties. I thank you, but Mr. Speaker, I really felt actually limited as far as this matter is concerned, because what the governor said really touched on my character. If I am actually not allowed to say much, then it means it's also discriminating on my right. But I think the House should actually look at Standing Order 101 to be able to allow us to discuss these matters. But let me tell Isiolo County people that I am ready, whatever it takes, because there is so much intimidation, Mr. Speaker, that is going on. This guy has killed that county. He's unfit to hold an office in any part of this country. And something needs to be done. And I have said this severally, but abusing, in fact, this afternoon, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, he insulted Chair Gender Commission after she has posted something on her Twitter page. Clearly, this is a man who has no respect for anybody within that county. But I hope in future, this House should be able to amend Standing Order 101 to be allowing us to discuss such characters of governors. The issues of actually drugs. Mr. Speaker, this guy is supplying drugs within Isiolo County, where our youths are being actually killed by these drugs. It is shameful. The security agencies are sleeping on their job, Mr. Speaker. And I must say this, he must be brought to books because he's killing our youth and he's stealing our funds within Isiolo County, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Don't be encouraged by majority leader to disobey the chair. But want to give at least 2 senators. Just Senator Kamal, Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the statement and condemn the actions of the governor of Isiolo in the strongest terms possible. It is very sad that a governor who is supposed to be His Excellency, can talk a language in front of children, in front of grown-ups, that cannot be repeated in this house. We cannot repeat those words, but we have them in our social media. It is a shame, and I started sympathizing with the people of Isiolo. How did they go to the polling station the morning they went to vote? Were they conned to believe that they are voting for a honorable member? It is a shame. Mr. Speaker, only two things. Number one is that the attack that he made included threats using youth or inciting youth to go after women leaders is something we cannot accept in this country. This is a country that is democratic, and if he had anything to say, he should have said in a manner that he would have corrected what he wanted to correct. But for him to tell youth, young people, to go after women leaders in this country, that is unacceptable, and we want to denounce it in the strongest words possible. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear that this one also has to do with the oversight that is accelerating very well in this House. Senators have gone out, committees have gone out to deal with oversight. And I say this because I have been approached by a member, by somebody from Isiolo, who has told me, talk to your friend. Why is your friend trying to get the governor to come before very many committees in the House? That is not the job of Senator Dulo. It is the job of the chairs of the committees. And I told the same person, messenger, whoever was sent to me, that it is not about Senator Dulo. It is about the oversight of the various committees. Because no member here can incite committees to question in a particular way. In fact, when we are dealing with governors, Mr. Speaker, the host senator is a friend of the committee. But I want to say this because it is not just the senator, it's not only the governor of Isiolo. There is this belief by governors that whenever they are invited to come before committees, they are coming before committees because the host senator has said so. Mr. Speaker, on record, and with this can be quoted from our education committee, a governor came before us and said, before I say anything, and fortunately or unfortunately, I was the chair at that point. Fortunately, he said, before I say anything, I want it to be very clear that I will never answer a question from my senator. That is in record in this House. How can a governor come and dictate to a committee that they don't want the senators, their host senators, to talk? Mr. Speaker, maybe we also went viral on that one because I also responded. And I said, listen to what you have told us before you repeat it, because I want you to repeat what you have said. He couldn't repeat it because he knew I was going to tell him either you go or the senator also has a chance. It was unbelievable to us as a committee. We looked at him in shock because we did not know what had transpired between him and his senator. But it was very clear that he did not want the senator to ever say anything. This is going to be in our report when we bring the report of the governors that we have seen, because after 15 we are going to bring an update from the Committee of Education. But what is this that the governors are hiding to the extent that they want to fight with their senators because of oversight? I see a lot of oversight issues that the governor of Isiolo is trying to hide. In this House, we have had occasion when committees have invited the governor of Isiolo and he has refused to come to the House. We have not done it in our committee, but we are going to dare invite him because we are going to invite all the 47. I think, Mr. Speaker, this House has to take their oversight very seriously, and we want the chairs of the committees to be very clear about oversight, that this must be done neutrally. We did, the governor I'm referring to decided to settle down when the member said, we must have our friend, your host senator here. and he will ask questions around education. We are not interested in what's going on between the two of you. That is when he managed to listen. But what are we talking about? We are talking about people who have decided to go rogue. Governors who have refused to be accountable. Governors who have refused to be transparent. As we are talking about Isiolo, I chaired the committee of devolution in absence when my chair was not well, when we were in Naivasha. And the things we hear about Isiolo are horror. We have a county that needs attention, and I hope we'll be able to go as the committee of devolution. A county where the governor comes, I hear once in a month. We need to pay attention to the governors. Thank you.
Senator Shakila Abdalla.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, hii kesi ya Mheshimiwa Fatuma Dulo ni moja imeongezeka katika ile list ya uhalifu unaoendelea wa kina mama. Uhalifu ambao kwamba ni wa dhulma za kijinsia kwa kina mama, dhulma za kufanya kina mama waogope kuingia katika siasa na kuongea maoni yao kikamilifu. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunataka hii seneti ichukue hatua kali kwa gavana kama yule kwa kufanya kitendo kama kile, kumkashifu mheshimiwa mwenzake hadharani bila sababu, kwa sababu Fatuma hajamkosea, alikuwa anafanya kazi yake ya seneti, kwa kumuita hapa kuja kuulizwa maswali kuhusiana na majukumu yake ya Isiolo. Lakini kwa sababu yeye ni mtu ambaye kwamba anataka kuficha madhambi yake nyuma ya mheshimiwa Fatuma, ndio sababu anaweza kumdhulumu na kumkosea kwa matusi ambayo hayawezi kueleweka. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tuna condemn na tunapinga dhulma hizi za kijinsia zinazoendelea kwa kina mama, hususan wamama ambao wako katika mirengo ya kisiasa. Tunapinga na tunakataa na tunamuaibisha huyo gavana wa Isiolo kwa yale mambo ambayo mnayafanya. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Hebu tumsikie huyu mzee wa Kericho aseme nini. Senator Cheruiyot Harwood.
Mr. Speaker, any leader who watched the utterances of Governor Guyo was terribly embarrassed and felt ashamed to be called a colleague leader. Because when young people watch such utterances, Mr. Speaker, they think that that is a norm. Mr. Speaker, if that was not sexual violence against Senator Fatuma Dulo, then I don't know what sexual violence is. Mr. Speaker, those utterances are a complete, Mr. Speaker, I lack even the words to properly express myself, because as a leader and somebody who understands the difficulty in executing the work of a senator, Mr. Speaker, I felt very embarrassed. And I felt bad on behalf of Senator Dulo, because I know that this is a senator just going about her business. And many times governors do not appreciate how difficult it is, because when bad things happen in our county governments, many times citizens look up to you as a senator to speak on their behalf and questions when things go wrong. Unfortunately, that on many occasions is misconstrued to mean that you have any personal vendetta against an individual who's serving as a governor. That's the nature of our constitutional duty. It is our work to be the eyes and the voice of the people. And that is all that Senator Fatuma Dulo has done. Therefore, I want to challenge Senator Fatuma Dulo to file a formal complaint with the EACC, because this is an ethics issue, Mr. Speaker. This is a leader who's behaving unethically. It goes against the provisions of Leadership and Integrity Act, Mr. Speaker, and the behavior of public officers. Because young people watch, I'm sure they were part of those celebrations, and when they now look at a widow like Fatuma Dulo, they imagine that that is the kind of leadership that we have as a country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I join those that are condemning the utterances of Governor Guyo Mr. Speaker, and urge or ask the people of Isiolo, when you look at such utterances being made against a woman leader from your county, do you feel proud? Are you happy that that is the kind of leadership that your county has? It's unfortunate, it is wrong, and something that I condemn with the strongest term possible. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wabua Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to also stand in solidarity with our colleague, Senator Dulo, who has suffered a sexist attack from a fellow leader in the same county. Mr. Speaker, I want this House to take note of the fact that when sometimes last year, the CPAC committee led by Senator Kajwang visited Isiolo, certain things happened that were untoward, and those things were directly attributable to the governor. The Speaker, to be remembered again, not many months ago, there was a presidential visit in Isiolo. Again, certain things happened that were unbecoming of a leader of the stature of a governor in the visit of a president in his county. The Speaker, the latest attack, direct attack on Senator Dulo is not just an attack on Dulo as a person, is an attack on women leadership in this country. To some extent, it is an attack on this House. The Speaker, what bothers me most is that this attack is coming at a time that the Senate is grappling with the issue of the formula for sharing revenue to counties. Senator Dulo, our colleague, who is one of the highest ranking members of this House, coming from a small county called Isiolo, is taking the lead in persuading our colleagues to give more money to Isiolo so that the county, Mr. Speaker, can be viable. And here is a leader who is trying to fight for our county to send money to a governor who is attacking her on the basis of sex, Mr. Speaker, or gender. Mr. Speaker, I want this House to perhaps think through how to deal with the governor of Isiolo. And the starting point would be maybe for the senator from Isiolo to invoke Standing Order 110. We begin there, so that we do an adjournment and just have a conversation about the governor of Isiolo and how we are going to deal with him as senators, because as I said, an attack on Dulo is an attack on all of us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
As we conclude, Senator Ezena Ramaletian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to add my voice to the statement by Senator Dulo, a woman whom I truly admire and respect, from a minority pastoralist community and a trailblazer in the leadership and political spaces in this country. That is to say, we are very proud of her as pastoralist women. Mr. Speaker, what the governor of Isiolo did is something that will amount to, is a criminal offense that can amount to an impeachment. The governor has violated the Chapter 6 of Leadership and Integrity, on leadership and integrity. And I had the privilege to work with the EACC. And I implored the women of Isiolo County to come out and write an impeachment against this governor. If we have female MCAs in Isiolo County, they should know that the Swahili people say, when you see your friend's head being shaved, you are next. They should know that this is an attack on the women of Kenya, an attack on the pastoralist women, an attack on this house. And Mr. Speaker, I am very hurt that I indeed see a whole public officer making such reckless remarks, regardless of the fact that he has children, he has a mother, he has a wife, and sisters. How does this man sleep at night? Mr. Speaker, this is what has normalized sexual harassment and cyberbullying, always making women the objects of sexism in this country. And it's disrespect to the women leadership. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to urge those Kenyans who are also involved in this, that you better have facts of what you say about people. I have personally borne the brunt of this nonsense being peddled online. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure you and every other Kenyan that as women and as the Vice Chair of Kenya Women Senators, that we are not in these political spaces to sell ice cream. We are going to fight because we belong to these spaces and nobody will intimidate us. Mr. Speaker, there is a purpose and a reason why they call things private. When you hear of a private land, no trespass. Private parts, no trespass. Nobody has the right to dictate how somebody utilizes anything that is private to them. And let this be known across the whole country, that we are not here, we are not apologetic about being in these spaces. And the target has always been on the strong women, on women of integrity. They should look at our history and how we got here. We got here because we did not compromise on integrity. And as a pastoralist woman from Baragoi, I am ready to take anybody who brings that nonsense to me head on. And I urge my big sister Fatuma Dulo.
Senator Robahali Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And as a senator coming from the region, what happened? As a senator coming from the region, this is the most, and as an elder, it is a very embarrassing statement that even when I watched it, I couldn't watch it to conclusion. I started asking myself, this is a leader demonstrating behavior unbecoming of a leader of the stature of a governor of a county. It's an embarrassment to the society that we come from. You know, for that leader to be able to stand and start speaking, you know, in statements that I cannot utter myself against a leader with, who has earned her position in society from becoming, a provincial administration person, work that is cut out for men and excelled in it, become a lawyer, and go through elective position in our region where you cannot even find women who can go for elective position to be elected into office. And to stand as a young man, start making statements that are un-African, statements that are un-Islamic, and is a leader of the entire county in an attempt to try and get some political mileage out of it. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is the most embarrassing, the most derogatory statement that can come out of a governor of a county, and a governor of a county who is a Muslim by faith, to be able to make such a statement. Because, and Mr. Speaker, you know, and I can just go to direct translation. In Islam, we say, haya ni katika imani, na haya haileti illa kheri. You cannot afford to speak in demeaning ways, and you are leader of a county. People look up to you as a governor. People look up to your demeanor. Forget about what comes out of your mouth as a governor. People look up to you as a leader to be able to provide hope. You cannot be going to Baraza to start responding to a female leader and start making a statement that cannot even in society be accepted unless you are uncouth, uncultured, barbaric, and you lack the societal norms that where we belong to. For you to be able to understand there are limitations that are imposed by society. There are limitations in behavior. We all get angered, but we cannot express some issues in public. We have to be limited, by the inbuilt realities of the society we belong to. Mr. Speaker, sir, I, condemn with the strongest words possible what the governor of Isiolo County has really uttered towards our honorable senator, who is very
Yes, Honorable Senators, I understand the interest on this matter, but we have to conclude with the now Kiwosa Chair, Senator Minda Kibwana. It's formal Chair. Are you the Chair? Can you confirm?
I want to say, Mr. Speaker, former Chair, I stepped down. Senator Veronica, kupatia hao wengine nafasi. Bwana Speaker, asante kwa kunipa hii nafasi. Kusema kweli, Mr. Speaker, hili jambo lina uchungu kama sisi kina mama, lina uchungu kama wanawake, lina uchungu kwa huyu bwana governor kumvua mwenzetu nguo. Na hata mimi nauliza, kweli yeye yuko na mama, yuko na dada, yuko na wasichana, yuko na watoto. Kwa yeye kama mtu mzima kusimama na kama kiongozi gavana kusimama kuzungumza mambo hayo kwa Senator Dulo. Na shangani nani alimweleza kuwa Senator Dulo anatafuta? Na kama Senator Dulo anatafuta, kwani yeye mwenyewe hawezi kujipatia? Na chochote kile alikuwa akizungumzia ni mambo ya kindani ya mtu mwenyewe. Bwana Speaker, nashangaa huyo governor siku hiyo akizungumza alikuwa yuko sawa ama alikuwa ametumia mihadarati. Kusema kweli hakuwa kwa akili timamu ya kuweza kuzungumza maneno kama hayo. Bwana Speaker, kama sisi wanawake tunashtumu vikali na tunaumia sana, na kusema kweli na sisi sote vile ML Aaron amesema kuwa lazima ichukuliwe hatua kwa governor. Na huyu governor, Bwana Speaker, tumeona mwenendo yake kwenye komiti zetu, tukimuita hawezi kuja, anatoka anazungumza mambo mengine mabaya, mambo ya komiti, kuwa hawezi kuitwa na komiti hawezi kuja. Bwana Speaker, tumeona mwenendo ya bwana governor, na mimi nataka kusema jamani, kwenye mental health ya Kiswahili, mental health ya akili, mimi naomba aweze kuangaliwa, kwa sababu nime champion hiyo Bwana Speaker kwa Senate, na nimesema kuwa lazima hii mental health akili taathira nimerekebishwa kuwa lazima iangaliwe kama yuko sawa, na mimi naomba akutane na madaktari ili waweze kumsaidia. Mr. Speaker, hii si matusi kwa Senator Dulo, si aibu ama uchungu kwa Senator Dulo, ni uchungu kwa wanawake wote Kenya nzima. Kwa hivyo tunaomba Bwana Speaker kuwa haya maneno yasiishie hapa, lakini tuendelee nayo na tujue ni hatua gani itachukuliwa. Na sisi wanawake tutajipeleka kotini kama haitoendelea. Tuko tayari sisi sote kushikana sote pamoja ili twende tufuatilie hii mambo, na tutakutana, tunamwambia bwana governor tutakutana naye kotini. Asante sana.
Asante. And now we go to the okay, we defer, been approached by the chair, budget and finance, that there are some issues to be sorted out on pertaining the order number 8, business and order number 8, so that is deferred. Now we go to order number 9. Clerk.
Order number 9, motion. Celebrating the life of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
Senator Mungatana Danson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I raise to move this motion celebrating the life of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Mr. Speaker, this motion is sponsored jointly by myself and the Honorable Senator Veronica Maina. The motion reads that aware that Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, a prominent author, academician, and human rights defender, globally recognized for his foundational contributions to literature and good governance, passed away on the 28th 28th May 2025 at the age of 87. Cognizant that the late Professor Wathiongo had an illustrious career in writing and teaching literature spanning over 6 decades, where he authored landmark novels, plays, and poems that shaped post-colonial studies, contributed to social justice, and inspired generations of writers and thinkers across the world. Appreciating that the late Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o advocated for indigenous languages and indeed took up writing in his mother tongue at a time when it was not fashionable to do so. Further cognizant that his legacy in inspiring many generations towards cultural sovereignty and the power of indigenous languages in literature and thought led to numerous international awards being bestowed upon him. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, records its celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who grew up in the shadows of this great man during those days when we studied literature in our earlier years in life and in school, many of us remember Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o as a man who fought both the colonial regime and resisted dictatorial tendencies of post-colonial Kenya without fear or favor. This great African literature giant died on the Wednesday of 28th May 2025, aged 87 years. Mr. Speaker, Ngugi wa Thiong'o was born under British colonial rule in 1938. He was anti-colonialist. He was anti-dictatorial. And he was also a militant proponent of the use of African languages. And he wrote many, many celebrated plays, including Devil on the Cross, including The Wizard of the Crow. He lived through the Mau Mau uprising as a teenager. During that time, he saw hundreds of our people abused, imprisoned, and tortured. During this conflict, Professor's father was forced to sell off his land, and he also witnessed the death of his 2 brothers during this struggle. And this struggle and his experiences formed the backdrop to the novel that made his name, Weep Not Child, which was published in 1964, just a year after Kenya gained its independence. Many of us will remember studying literature and talking and reading about this Weep Not Child and Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o when we were younger. Professor wa Thiong'o, he grew up in the shadow of the violent war for independence in Kenya. He went to university in Uganda at a time of political and literary ferment across Africa, and he came of age first in Uganda and then in Kenya after it gained its independence. Professor wa Thiong'o was thrown in jail by the Kenyan government After his release, he continued his writing and political activism, first in Kenya, then he went in exile in London, and finally in the US, where he was a professor of literature for over 30 years. Mr. Speaker, alongside writers such as Chinua Achebe and Wole Soyinka, he was part of a literary scene that flourished in the 1950s and 60s during the last years of colonialism on the continent of Africa. Mr. Speaker, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, unlike maybe the literary geniuses of that time like Chinua Achebe and Wole Soyinka, he was a militant because he wrote with a feeling. His books were cutting. It was like a panga against colonial and post-independence dictatorship and against the ruling elite at that time. Mr. Speaker, we celebrate his works and continue to read them to date. His first book of essays, Homecoming, is at once engaging and it is very polemic. I have mentioned his early novels like Weep Not Child, A Grain of Wheat, which had huge impact against the colonial government. He wrote a series of novels, short stories, and plays. As Ngugi became a lecturer in English literature at the University of Nairobi. Then he studied English. Then he argued that English department should be renamed and its focus should shift to literature around the world. He also said, why can't African literature be at the center so that we can have a comparison between the cultures, the African culture, the English culture, and the relationship between the two. Mr. Speaker, in 1977, he published his fourth novel, Petals of Blood. And then the play, The Trial of Dedan Kimathi, which dealt with the troubled legacy of the Mau Mau uprising. But it was his co-authoring of a play written in Kikuyu which led to his arrest and imprisonment in Kamiti Maximum Security Prison. He was jailed not for thundering political context, but for the play in Kikuyu called Ngaheka Ndenda, which means I will marry when I want. But even in prison, Mr. Speaker, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o continued to write. He wrote his memoir on toilet paper in prison. Mr. Speaker, sir, when Ngugi wa Thiong'o was released in 1978, he was exiled in 1982 when he learned of a plot to kill him upon his return from a trip to Britain, to promote his novel, Kaitani Mutharabaini, translated to mean the devil on the cross. He later on moved to the UK and to the US, where he worked as a professor of English and comparative literature in the University of California. When we look at Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Mr. Speaker, we look at a giant who never stopped thinking and who did a lot of political thinking and who continued to dream even in his old age and move that we should use more of African languages, because he believed that our culture as Africans is as superior, if not better, than the culture of the Europeans. Mr. Speaker, allow me to share with this Senate one of his most memorable quotes in his book, Decolonizing the Mind, written in 1986. And he said on this about colonialism, he said, colonialism normalizes the abnormal. And, quote, the present predicaments of Africa are often not a matter of personal choice. They arise from our historical situations. Their solutions are not so much a matter of personal decision as that of a fundamental social transformation of the structures of our societies, starting with a real break with imperialism and its internal ruling allies. Imperialism and its comprador alliances in Africa can never develop the continent. Mr. Speaker, we mourn the passing away of this literary giant. We mourn the long gone days of men who stood for what they believe in, men who did not falter, did not think twice. Once they follow a path, they never backed away from what they believed. They never gave statements today, tomorrow, to deny them before this very same press where they gave those statements. Men who pricked our conscience as a nation, as a country. Men who developed a certain resistance that said, we can be better. We can be better. And Mr. Speaker, to his credit, although he talked a lot and fought so much for indigenous languages, one of the things we remember about Ngugi wa Thiong'o in the Pan-African Parliament is that he talked about the African and the fact that his civilization is just as good, if not better, than the European civilization. We celebrate him. In fact, when we talk about Kiswahili in the Pan-African, in the Pan-African Parliament, we also associate this with Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. His works traversed Kenya. His works traversed Uganda and the entire East Africa. His works went to the rest of Africa, the continent, and the world. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot to say about this man. And it was a great pleasure as a nation to host this man as one of our sons and to be proud that we gave birth to such a man who gave to this country the spirit of fighting on, the spirit against colonization, and the spirit against post-colonial dictators who came after and tried to return this country back to where the colonial administrators had left it. Mr. Speaker, we pray for his soul to rest in good peace. And Mr. Speaker, our prayer is that Ngugi wa Thiong'o fought his battle. The second liberation, they fought their battle. And the young people who are in this country now, it is also your time to fight your own battle. As we plan our exit outside this time, when the sun finally sets, like it did for Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, we want to see another fire burning outside, coming to take over from where we left it. Because this country must be better than it is now. This country can be better than it is now, and this country would be better than it is now if we continue with the spirit of those who believed in this country, those who made this country happen, those who made this country be what it is. Mr. Speaker, so much can be said about Ngugi wa Thiong'o. We were outside town in Kisumu with the Energy Committee. And Mr. Speaker, Honorable Veronica and myself were engaged in very animated discussions about Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, together with other senators. And Mr. Speaker, the people that we interacted with, as young as they are, they still gave reference and deference to Ngugi wa Thiong'o. If you look at the internet, even our social media, it was awash with the news of the passing away of this great man and what he meant to this country. This Senate today honors this man. Mr. Speaker, this Senate today says thank you to the family for giving us this man. This Senate today, Mr. Speaker, honors the great son of this country, and may his spirit of fighting to make our country better, may it continue. May that renewal, Mr. Speaker, always be within us. May the fires of revolution, the fires of making this country better, may they continue burning with the people who will come after us. Mr. Speaker, with so many words, I beg to move and request Honorable Senator Tobiko to second this motion. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Felix Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me thank Senator Mungatana for giving me the opportunity to second and to say one thing or two about Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Mr. Speaker, we mourn his demise as we celebrate his life. Mr. Speaker, Ngugi wa Thiong'o was a Kenyan author and academic who has been described as East African leading novelist and an important figure in modern African literature. Mr. Speaker, as has been ably said by Senator Mungatana, he wrote very many books, Mr. Speaker. He was able to capture the undiluted African society and setup through his books, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, The Guardian one time wrote that in his company, you could not afford to be lazy. And Al Jazeera said Ngugi wa Thiong'o was not just a writer, he was a militant. Mr. Speaker, has already been detailed, he wrote very many books that are still used in our literature classes today. And his life will live on through his books, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's ironical that Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who completely was against colonialism and wrote a lot about colonialism, was forced by circumstances, Mr. Speaker, to leave his homeland, to go and live and stay in the land of the colonizers, Mr. Speaker. It is unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that one time when Ngugi wa Thiong'o was around Kenya, the insecurity situation in our country, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you remember, when his wife was raped, violated, harassed in his own country, Mr. Speaker. It is unfortunate that we did not get to appreciate what we had in Ngugi wa Thiong'o until now, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, a lot of his writings are admired across the world. And so, Mr. Speaker, I arise to support, to second the motion by Senator Mungatana, and may the soul of Ngugi wa Thiong'o rest in peace. Thank you.
Senator Haji. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that I aware that Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, a prominent author, academician and human rights defender, globally recognized for his foundational contributions to literature and good governance, passed away on 20 May 2025 at the age of 87. Cognizant that the late Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o and an illustrious career in writing and teaching literature spanning over 6 decades, where he authored landmark novels, plays, and poems that shaped post-colonial studies, contributed to social justice, and inspired generations of writers and thinkers across the world. Appreciating that the late Professor wa Thiong'o advocated for indigenous languages and indeed took up writing in his mother tongue at a time when it was not fashionable to do so. Further, cognizant that his legacy in inspiring many generations towards cultural sovereignty and the power of indigenous languages in literature, and thought led to numerous international ones being bestowed upon him. Now, therefore, the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, reckons his celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation. Now I invite senators to make their contributions. And we start with Senator Wambua Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to eulogize Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Mr. Speaker, I am a student of literature, and I have studied a number of works by Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And I stand here today, Mr. Speaker, first of all to pass my condolences and the condolences of the people of Kitui County to the family of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the people of Kamirido, and indeed the entire literary world for the loss of this literary icon. As Speaker, it shall be remembered that at the peak of his career, there was a lot of conversation in the literary world about the place of language in communicating literary messages. And a group of literary artists, led actually by Ngugi himself, believed that choosing a language is actually a choice of the audience.
Just a minute, Senator Enoch. What is your point of honor?
One. We don't have a quorum now. Honorable Speaker, if you can ring the bell. Togo.
The Dean have confirmed that we are short of 6 senators in the chamber. Therefore, I request the Sergeant at Arms to ring the bell for 10 minutes.
Children, you don't cause quorum each by leaving. You sit. I don't know.
We want to close the house.
Honorable Senators, we have quorum. Senator Wambua, you may proceed with your time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to continue. I started, Mr. Speaker, by saying that I convey my condolences to the family of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the people of Karimidhu, and the entire literary world on the passing on of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. The Speaker, it shall be remembered by lovers and students of literature that Ngugi made a very big contribution in the global conversation around the place of language in communication. And he's one literary artist who believed that language was not just a tool of communication, that actually language is a carrier of people's culture, that language, the speaker, is at the center of the shaping of the identity of our people. And that is why he wrote quite a number of works in his mother tongue, including the play titled Gai Kadeda, translated to I Will Marry When I Want, in 1977, which actually landed him in trouble with the government of the day. He was put in, and finally the UNICEF and other international bodies identified him and said that this man is a prisoner of conscience and pushed for his release. The Speaker, as we eulogize this great man in the modern
Senator Kinwa,
African literature.
What is your point of order? Just a minute. What is out of order now?
I was just concerned because I know Wambua as a good editor, and the book is talking about, I think, is Gai Kadeda.
What is your point of
So
order?
I didn't know which book he meant that Ngugi wa Thiong'o wrote, that I will marry when I want, and I know it in another language called Gai Kadeda. So I don't know which book he's talking about.
Senator Wambua?
So is it a point of order, or he needs some information, the Speaker?
Takinwa is part of the cartel that stopped the progress of this session.
I believe so.
Yeah, he's
so
not related
we don't
to
respond
so
to him.
you know him.
We don't respond to him. So the thing that Senator Kinwa, I think that Senator Kinwa must know is that a lot of works by Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o were translated into a number of languages, many, many languages. In fact, his short play, The Upright Revolution, or Why Humans Walk Upright, which he wrote in 2016, was translated into more than 100 languages. That is Professor Ngugi for you, and that's the man that we are eulogizing today. The Speaker, for the literary world, we want to tell them, we pass our condolences to them on the passing on of their colleague, and pray that, and there are good signs with the Speaker. I am encouraged to know that all the 4 children of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, T. Ngugi, Mukoma wa Ngugi, Dushu wa Ngugi, and Wanjiku wa Ngugi, all of them, without exception, are actually published authors. They are in the literature world. They are writing and they're being published. So it's a good thing that he has passed on to his children. To our students in schools, Those who have had opportunity to study works of art by Ngugi wa Thiong'o, we all agree that they have been very, very thought-provoking, and that actually his works are the embodiment of the literary saying that literature is not based in a vacuum, that literature draws from society, and that Ngugi wa Thiong'o used the platform of literature to communicate social messages that touched on politics, on economics, and on development of the country and the region. The Speaker, may the soul of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the father of African modern literature, rest in God's eternal peace. I thank you.
Senator Odinga Oburu.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand here to mourn a friend and a brother. And Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o was one of the true nationalists we had in this country during the struggle for our independence against the colonizers of this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, colonization came in several ways. There was colonization of the mind, which was colonization of the cultural colonization. There was the political colonization, and there was the economic colonization. Mr. Speaker, Ngugi wa Thiong'o fought against all these, but he is more known for fighting against mental colonization, cultural colonization. Because, Mr. Speaker, when the colonialists came to our country, they first of all despised the African religion. They called us primitive. And therefore they called this country colony. Colony means, where you have a people who are not civilized, who have no form of leadership, who have no form of religion. They have nothing. That they are just living next to that kingdom of the animal. Now, Mr. Speaker, this country had very rich cultures. It has very rich cultures of languages. And when somebody wants to colonize you mentally, Mr. Speaker, they start first with demonizing your language. Because cultures are expressed in our mother tongues. There are some expressions in Kikuyu which Ngugi wa Thiong'o used when he was starting to write, which you cannot express in English. Even if you try to translate them in English, they will not have the same meaning. They will never have the same meaning. And I know sentences in my own language, Luo, which are so deep that if somebody tries to translate them, even me, I cannot translate them into English. That means when somebody makes you believe that their language is superior to yours, they are, first of all, they are colonizing you already mentally, because they want you to believe that their culture is superior. Then they introduce religion. They tell you their religion is superior. And they want you to also use their names. When you go to church, you are baptized Charles. You call yourself Charles, and Charles is just an English name. It is not even in the Bible anywhere. And you feel that as long as Donald, those are just English names which are nowhere even in the Bible. But you feel that because it is a European name, it's superior to your own name of Oburu or Otieno or Ngonga. You know me and Ngugi wa Thiong'o. His name is called Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Where is that Charles or William? It is not there. And even me, I'm Oburu, Ngonga, Molo, Oburu Oging. Those are my baptismal names. Because my father also refused to be culturally colonized. Ngugi said, no, I'm not going to use these names of the Mzungu. And he encouraged. I'm so surprised that during our days, Mr. Speaker, when we were being taught in standard 1, 2, 3, up to 4, we were taught in vernacular, our own language. I learned to read and write in Luo. And all the subjects were taught in Luo up to standard 3 when they introduced English. We started speaking English, doing exams in English in standard 4. And from standard 5 now, you had to do English, whether you liked it or not. If you didn't speak English, they gave you a disc in school. But Mr. Speaker, this great man wrote many books, more than 200 books, which he wrote, and they became literally, there were literatures in schools, and they were also not only in Kenya, but in Africa, in the whole of Africa, and in the world, because he went to teach in America. He was teaching Americans. He was not teaching Kenyans there in America. This was a great professor of the world. He was teaching, but he had great passion for our country because he believed that even after independence, when the flag was brought down, our people were still culturally colonized. Because a culture, when you misuse your culture, you also become like a slave. And he believed that even though we got our independence, that independence did not give us the freedom of being colonized culturally. It did not give us the freedom of being colonized economically, because our economies were still tied to the metropolis. We were like an appendage of the colonial regimes, and we have been unable since then, Mr. Speaker, sir, to shed ourselves of this colonial, to become truly independent, so that we can develop our own economies, we can trade and not beg. Mr. Speaker, we can trade with the world because the world has become a world village. But we don't have to be beggars to go and seek money from the metropolis, carrying hearts there, Mr. Speaker. And this, Ngugi wa Thiong'o believed in this very dearly, and he disagreed very sharply with a lot of people in leadership in this country. That is why he died somewhere out of our country, still believing that our country was the best, because when he came back to Kenya, he, at the airport, when he landed, Mr. Speaker, he kissed the soil of Kenya. He kissed the soil of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, because he believed that Kenya is the best as far as he was so deeply, Mr. Speaker. And he actually died. Was fighting disease like everybody else will go. There's nobody who will live on this earth for good. So we are celebrating Ngugi wa Thiong'o. We are not mourning, but we are celebrating his life because his life was great and he has left legacy. And that legacy will live forever. So I want to say that I want to just wish that the legacy of Ngugi wa Thiong'o will live, and that our children will study deeply what Ngugi wa Thiong'o was teaching, and because our society has become so bad, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have children who don't know their mother tongue, and they think that that is superior because they speak English. As long as they speak English, they think that they are superior than the others who don't speak English. Mr. Speaker, English is just a language of one country. Though it can help you to do many other things. But your own language will teach you your own culture, which teaches you the discipline of your people. Our society was a very disciplined and organized society, and it is becoming more or less like the European society, which is promiscuous. What they do really, there are things which are even unnatural, like a man and a woman and a woman. What is this, Mr. Speaker? This is completely un-African, and African have their own cultures. Mr. Speaker, this was not a session for me to give a lecture on this, but I just want to wish that the legacy of my friend Ngugi wa Thiong'o will stay to educate and to change our society positively so that our people can continue to fight for justice, to fight for positive change, so that our country can be liberated both culturally and economically. Mr. Speaker, let the soul of Ngugi wa Thiong'o rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to mourn a gallant son of this country and of the whole world. One great writer, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Honorable Speaker, Ngugi has left behind lots of wisdom. And I want to say that he lived a full life to me, and he fought a good fight. Honorable Speaker, I celebrate Ngugi because of so many things. But one or two of them, Honorable Speaker, is that Ngugi was one of our most educated scholars. I celebrate a Nobel-worthy writer, although he did not finally win one, but he won on 2001 a prize in Italy. But Honorable Speaker, something that is remarkable about Ngugi wa Thiong'o is that he believed in his identity. Honorable Speaker, we are not worth living if we do not believe in our identity. And Ngugi is one such gallant son of Kenya who was not shy about his identity. Honorable Speaker, Ngugi wa Thiong'o was named James Ngugi. But because of this identity that I've talked about, he's changed his name to Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi, and it is specific that it was a symbol of a rejection of a colonial influence. He became the names James, just like my senior Senator Oburu Oginga has said. James did not do anything in his environment, and that is why he changed that name to Ngugi. Honorable Speaker, two things that stand out about Ngugi. Amongst the many things that we can talk about is his belief in culture and his belief in the indigenous language, Honorable Speaker. Some of us grew up in our formative years having to learn in our indigenous languages, as Senator Oburu and others have said. And Honorable Speaker, we are not shy about it because it gave us a foundation
A language is an identity. Honorable Speaker, in teaching a language, there are 4 basic skills that people learn in a language. That you learn the skill of speaking, the skill of reading, the skill of writing, and the skill of, as you speak, you read, you write, and you listen. A number of us think, Honorable Speaker, that listening is not a skill. And in the books that Ngugi wrote, and for the students that were taught this language, they were taught these books, the issue of language remains a key. Honorable Speaker, why do I say culture is an outstanding aspect of Ngugi wa Thiong'o? Apart from changing his name, in order to symbolize a rejection of colonial influence, as I've said, he also emphasized teaching the indigenous languages. Honorable Speaker, we have so many languages in this country. As we demonize and as we talk about and as we say we should never be tribalistic. Honorable Speaker, it does not mean that we should not be proud of the languages that we speak, because it is an identity. But Ngugi promoted it in a way that it did not divide anybody. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, Ngugi even emphasized the teaching of oral literature. What was the essence of oral literature? That it brought an harmonization of our cultural environment. That, Honorable Speaker, we could teach our children, and this was a teaching that was passed from generation to generation through oral skills, that you could symbolically make a point and teach, even using certain traits of the animals that we have around us. Honorable Speaker, long time ago, grandparents and parents taught their children, before the coming on formal education, the grandparents used to teach their children, and people would get lessons related to even the traits of animals. Honorable Speaker, this morning I was at a meeting, and the presenter asked ourselves that as you introduced yourself, assume that you are an animal, and what does that animal symbolize? Some of them say they wanted to identify with the elephant, of course, because of the traits of the elephant. And for the first time, I learned, although I thought I knew, that an elephant has very sharp memory and long memory. Some talked about them being a lion. Honorable Speaker, was proud to say that I would have loved to be a cheetah, so that I would move with a speed to correct certain ills that bedevils this society. Honorable Speaker, coming back to Ngugi wa Thiong'o, he talked about speaking one's language, that speaking one's language is to celebrate one identity. It is that identity that I've talked about. And Ngugi was never shy about that indigenous language. But what does that tell us, Honorable Speaker? Ngugi wa Thiong'o was a very learned man. Why do people think in our societies that when you speak your indigenous language, then there's no modernity in you? Honorable Speaker, that is very far away from the truth. And Ngugi promoted the use of indigenous language because he believed that to impose a language on one was a way of dividing us, that in our different diversities, we come together as a common people. Honorable Speaker, some of the things that Ngugi wa Thiong'o in his books preached about, he was very much against dictatorship in his books. He was so much against tyrannical ruling. He was actually out and preached and wrote about injustices in the society. And Honorable Speaker, those are the same things that we keep on preaching today. that we do not want dictators, that we do not want tyrants, and we want a society that is just to everybody. A society that ensures everybody, be they the young people like the ones that we have today, be they women, be they men, be they old and people, we want a society where everybody lives in dignity. Honorable Speaker, there are a number of books that Ngugi wrote. One of them was Weep No Child, The River Between, A Grain of Wheat. And two of them, Weep No Child and A Grain of Wheat, specifically talked about the impact of colonialism. Honorable Speaker, although the whites came and colonized us, a number of people came and fought, resisted this, but Ngugi was so creative that other than speaking out about it, he wrote about it. And the beauty of this, Honorable Speaker, is that what is written in books remain as a record to the society, and everybody can read, including the young students we have today. And I want to invite you that as you go out to read the novels that you are taught today, in respect of one Ngugi, a gallant son of this country, please go out and find a book, The River Between, and A Grain of Wheat, and Weep No Child, in honor of Ngugi. And for even a number of us that have not read, if you're not a fan of reading, at least go and read A Grain of Wheat. And as I've said, Honorable Speaker, one of his books that is very interesting is The Petals of Blood, and this is a book that led to his imprisonment. But one outstanding characteristic of Ngugi is that he believed in what he was writing about. He believed on the content of the teachings that readers would get from his books. And so, not even jailing him did not dampen the spirit of Ngugi. And so, as Kenyans, as I stand here to celebrate Ngugi, as I stand here to celebrate Ngugi wa Thiong'o, I'm calling upon all of us to celebrate and appreciate such great writers that we have had. Ngugi plays in another league, and we are calling upon also the government of Kenya that because we are celebrating this gallant son, let us celebrate him to the end. And may the government give him, come out and give Ngugi wa Thiong'o a good and a deserving send-off when his body is brought back to the country. I cherish the teaching of this great son. I've read his books many times. And as I've said, I ask everybody that has not read to take off time to read the works of Ngugi. And as I wind off and support this great motion by our Senator Danson Mungatana, we must as a country continue to celebrate our outstanding gallant sons and daughters. I appreciate Ngugi for sticking to his identity and for calling out everybody to be proud of their identity and of their culture. Honorable Speaker, culture is a way of life. As you live it now, and culture changes, but as culture changed in Ngugi's writing, the main themes remained in the content as he wrote them. Ngugi lived a full life. He fought a good fight, and may his soul rest in peace, and may he join our gallant sons that went before it. I remember one such writer, Margaret Ogola, The River and the Source, and many other writers. I want to compare Ngugi to people who came out boldly to shed off names that they were not comfortable about. One such person is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Yes, Adonijah, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. He refused to pick that other name. And Honorable Speaker, he fought for that identity. I celebrate Ngugi, and I want to say, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, that let us keep on celebrating such gallant sons, and let us not be ashamed of our identity, our culture, and our environmental circumstances. Honorable Speaker, I support.
Senator Mohamed Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii pia kuchangia hoja ya kumkumbuka mwenda zake Profesa Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Mheshimiwa Spika, Profesa Ngugi wa Thiong'o ilikuwa ni gwiji la sanaa ya uandishi na ameweza kuandika vitabu vingi karibu 200, na vile vile pia ameandika michezo mingi ya kuigiza. Hivyo basi akaiweka nchi ya Kenya vile vile na Afrika katika upeo wa juu kwenye masuala ya sanaa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia maisha ya mwenda zake Ngugi, alianza katika hali ya chini, lakini kwa kutumia kipaji chake na masomo aliyosoma aliweza kujiweka katika hali ya juu kabisa katika masuala ya usanii na kutambuliwa ulimwengu mzima kama gwiji wa sanaa. Mheshimiwa Spika, alipigania uhuru wa nchi yetu ya Kenya, na vile vile pia alipigania lugha za Kiafrika ziweko katika mapu ya ulimwengu, kwamba ni lugha ambazo zinaweza kutumika kama lugha nyingine yoyote ulimwenguni. Mheshimiwa Spika, Muingereza ama mtu mweupe alipokuja Afrika, kwanza kabisa alidunisha na kudharau lugha za kienyeji. Lugha nyingi Mheshimiwa Spika haziwezi kutumika, na ndio mpaka sasa Mheshimiwa Spika nchini mwetu tunatumia Kiingereza kama lugha ya kwanza, wakati tuna lugha zetu ambazo tunaweza kutumia kama lugha ya Kiswahili ambayo imepata matumizi makubwa kutoka Afrika Mashariki na ya Kati, na sasa mpaka Afrika Kusini. Mheshimiwa Spika, lugha hii inatumika. Vile vile hata katika Pan African Parliament, bunge la Afrika, Mheshimiwa Spika, lugha ya Kiswahili inatumika na inatambulika. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, msukumo wa mwenda zake Ngugi ndio ulileta kutambulika kwa hizi lugha za Kiafrika, na hivyo basi zikatoa mchango mkubwa katika kuunganisha Afrika. Mheshimiwa Spika, moja ya silaha ambazo zilitumika katika kuunganisha Waafrika wakati wa ukoloni ilikuwa ni lugha ya Kiswahili, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo mchango huu Mheshimiwa Spika ni mkubwa, na vile vile baada ya uhuru vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika, mwenda zake Profesa Ngugi aliona kwamba ni majina tu yaliyobadilika, lakini sio uhuru kamili wa Mwafrika. Ndio maana Mheshimiwa Spika, katika vitabu vyake vingi alijaribu kukosoa ule mwelekeo ama mwongozo ambao nchi ulikuwa unatumia ili kuendesha masuala yake. Mheshimiwa Spika, alijipata pabaya mwenda zake Ngugi kwa sababu wale ambao walikuwa mamlakani wakati ule hawakuweza kukubali fikra zile alizokuwa nazo mwenda zake Ngugi. Mheshimiwa Spika, licha ya kwamba alikwenda uhamisho, vitabu vyake Mheshimiwa Spika viliendelea kusomwa. Nafasi hii Mheshimiwa Spika imesaidia pakubwa kuleta mwamko wa masuala ya kiutamaduni, mwamko katika masuala ya kiserikali, na vile vile pia mwamko katika masuala ya masomo, kwa sababu vijana wengi Mheshimiwa Spika wameweza kusoma na kufuata mwelekeo ambao ameufuata mwenda zake Ngugi. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati tunamzungumzia Profesa Ngugi, ni majuzi tu wasichana waliweza kuzuiliwa kuonyesha mchezo wao katika maonyesho ya sanaa ya nchi yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, ilikuwa ni aibu kwamba tumeweza kuwazuia wasichana wale, wakati ilikuwa ni kila mwaka wasichana wale waliweza kufanya vizuri katika masuala ya sanaa. Wewe Mheshimiwa Spika, ni lazima tujiangalie tena upya kama taifa la Kenya. Mwenda zake Ngugi amekufa ugenini wakati nchi yake ilikuwa haimkubali kwa sababu ya mawazo yake, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na wako wengi ambao wako nje, Mheshimiwa Spika, na mpaka sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, jana tu tukizungumzia msichana mmoja aliyejulikana kama jina la Rose, aliweza kupelekwa mahakamani kwa kuweza kutanabahisha watu kuhusiana na masuala ya mswada wa fedha ambao unakuja katika bunge la kitaifa katika wiki inayofuata. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, bado nchi yetu ina safari kubwa ya kwenda ili kuona kwamba ule uhuru ambao tulipigania, Mheshimiwa Spika, unakuwa ni wa manufaa na kila mtu ambaye katika Kenya yuko huru kufanya vile ambavyo sheria inampasa kufanya. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikimalizia nachukua fursa hii kutuma rambirambi zangu kwa niaba yangu binafsi, familia yangu na niaba ya watu wa Mombasa kwa familia ya mwenda zake Ngugi kwa kumpoteza mpendwa wao na kumpoteza kiungo kikubwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, katika nchi yetu kwa masuala ya sanaa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiombea roho yake ilale pema poponi, ni lazima katika ulimwengu huu, Mheshimiwa Spika, kuendeleza zile mafunzo na fasihi ambayo roho yake ilale pema peponi. Asante kwa fursa hii.
I call upon the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to reply. I also want to thank my colleagues who contributed to this motion. I want to start with the seconder of the motion, the Honorable Peris Tobiko. I want to thank Senator Enoch Wambua, the Honorable Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, Honorable Senator Beatrice Ugola, Honorable Senator Mohamed Faki, Mr. Speaker, not forgetting the co-sponsor of this motion, the Honorable Senator Veronica Maina. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank those who made their contribution. Mr. Speaker, the running theme in the contribution of the Honorable Senators was emphasizing the question of the use of language, particularly our indigenous languages. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that Ngugi's fight continues to be a struggle even today in our various families. Mr. Speaker, the European and the white man continues to affect our children. They go to school, they learn the language, and they obtain knowledge in mathematics, in physics, in history, using the white man's language. They come home, they greet us in the white man's language. They make jokes in the white man's language. They watch movies in the white man's language. Mr. Speaker, even the kind of speech and culture that they have adopted, our own children, is no different from a child who has been raised up in Leicester or somewhere in New York, because our children watch a lot of television. And this has continued to make the struggle that Ngugi wa Thiong'o started, because the language they use reflects the cultural values of those people. And Mr. Speaker, the cultural values of a lot of our European brothers are not reflective of the cultural values of the African people as we had envisaged them through the mind of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And so, as we pay our homage, this Senate urges the rest of the country that we must continue to inculcate our children, our generations, with the cultures of our people. We must continue to take the good things about our cultures and keep talking to our children about them. Mr. Speaker, in Pokomo culture, for example, you would not answer back to your elder brother, not leave alone your mother or your father. In my culture, Mr. Speaker, you would not call your elder a liar. He could only have forgotten the facts. Mr. Speaker, you cannot finish on the table and leave your older brother, leave alone your father, eating because it is inferring that he is greedy. You cannot meet or even greet your mother-in-law with your hands, Mr. Speaker. You have to look far away. If she's coming this way, you go far away. Mr. Speaker, you don't meet them face to face. And we had a lot of problems when now we shifted to Nairobi and our mothers-in-law will come to visit. Mr. Speaker, it will be very, very complicated because you are not supposed to be in the same roof like your mother-in-law. And Mr. Speaker, when sometimes we tell some of our colleagues that it is wrong, for example, to call leaders, the president, ministers, to call them liars, it is against what we have been brought up to say. Some people don't understand us, but I know the spirit of Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o would understand. When you say, I cannot, for example, in my own culture, mention the name of my older brother. I can't call him by his name, Mr. Speaker. I have to add a title. So, in my language, if I want to call my older brother, Professor Eric Mungatana, I have to say Tata Eric. You cannot mention his name without adding a title. Mr. Speaker, these things that held our families together, held our communities together, these things that made us be respected amongst our people, they are gone nowadays. People who are the age of your fathers, who are all your fathers, they could discipline you. You are subject to that control. Mr. Speaker, I strongly believe that this Senate will continue to make that call, that our people will continue to honor our cultures like they did, like Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o would have wanted. And for us to honor Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, let us sit down with our children, let us sit down with our young ones and tell them that even if they watch television and they do this kind of thing, they should remember where they came from. They should remember that there is circumcision, and when you're circumcised, this is how you behave. They should remember that these are the good things about our tribes. They should remember about the brave people of old who helped to keep our communities as they are, and the folklores that we had. And Mr. Speaker, as I finish here, I urge the correct institutions, perhaps those institutions where a professor served, we need to have these things in a digital format, some of the books, some of the works, so that, Mr. Speaker, they will never be forgotten. And, Mr. Speaker, they can form part of our history. When you visit some of these museums here in Nairobi, they tell you about certain things. But these people of stature, like Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, should be celebrated in some of these important museums. And they should be recorded as people who have made their contribution to this nation. And they should be honored even posthumously. And I call upon the government of Kenya to honor these people. And Mr. Speaker, you know, people like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, they should be honored even posthumously because they are deserving of national recognition, East African recognition, African recognition, Mr. Speaker, for what they contributed in this life when they lived it. May God rest his life, his soul in eternal peace. And Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you. And Mr. Speaker, I also ask that the voting be, I pray that the putting of the question be deferred to another date. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Mungatana. The put of the question is deferred. Next order.
Order number 10, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 51 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
There being no senators to contribute to this bill, we shall defer the reply and rearrange the order paper. We shall defer the order paper, from order number 11 to order number 17 should be deferred. And clerk, call the next order.
Order number 18, the Labor Migration and Management number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to do a second reading of my bill, the Labor Migration and Management, Bill number 2 of 2024, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to really thank the Committee of Labor that was working on this bill as far as public participation is concerned to where it is today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the main aim of this bill is to provide for the regulation of private employment agencies and the recruitment of workers from within and outside Kenya, also to safeguard the rights, welfare of job seekers and migrant workers, and for the connected purposes, Mr. Speaker. This bill, Mr. Speaker, I put it down because, Mr. Speaker, I've had passion when it came to issues of our young boys and girls who've gone to the Gulf countries, and I've seen what they've gone through over time, over years. The challenges, Mr. Speaker, that have come or they have endured as they've worked in these abroad countries, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the labor market is big. The labor market is growing. The Kenya labor market has been of very high demand, Mr. Speaker. And out of the challenges that have been raised by our young Kenyans who have gone to work out there, more so and specifically in the Gulf countries, Mr. Speaker, that is what made me, as a legislator, sit down and put this bill, Mr. Speaker. This bill provides regulations as far as having a safe place for our young people when they are working in these foreign countries. A safe place, Mr. Speaker, in the event that there are harassments, in the event that they have misunderstandings.
Senator Tabitha.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Just to guide you, before introducing the bill and going into the introduction of the bill, you're supposed to move the bill to be read a second time and then proceed thereafter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for guidance. My sincere apologies, Mr. Speaker. At times, because of the busy schedules, sometimes we miss some of these points, but it's not intentional, Mr. Speaker. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to move that the Labor Migration and Management Bill number 2, Senate Bill number 42 of 2024, be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, as I had earlier mentioned, I'd really appreciated the Committee of Labor that has prosecuted this bill to where it is today in this House for the second reading, Mr. Speaker. The main purpose of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is to provide for the regulation of private employment agencies and the recruitment of workers within and outside Kenya to safeguard the rights and welfare of our job seekers and migrant workers, with the purposes of connectivity between the foreign countries and our people. Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, as I started, this was driven by what I've been able to see over time, over years, where our people have sought jobs through the agencies out there with the aim of earning a revenue, with the aim of making a living. But we've seen the challenges that have come with that. We've seen how in some cases that our people have been mistreated, the complaints that have been brought about, a few whose cases have been a bit, fair or okay, they've not had the same issues, unlike most of the people who, in my view, have really had challenges. It is in that regard, Mr. Speaker, as a legislator, that I sat with the legal team and put this bill down to be able to safeguard the working spaces that our Kenyan people do work in. This bill, Mr. Speaker, is a bill that will ensure that we have a functionality of the authority that is going to be in charge when it comes to ensuring that the recruitment agencies are thoroughly vetted, so that we do not have a sort of, an agency that just moves our Kenyan people from here and they leave them hanging out there, as we've seen previously, Mr. Speaker. The bill sets out the regulations, the policies that both countries, that is our country and the foreign countries, need to adhere to, the bilateral MOU agreements that need to be signed so that both countries have an understanding. This will ensure, Mr. Speaker, that also our people are able to get the fairest earning. The fact that there is an understanding, there is a policy in place, it will give our people an opportunity to earn fairly or be able to match with the other foreigners who are also working in those countries. Because at times you find that, Mr. Speaker, some people from other countries might be paid higher than our own Kenyan people, and yet they are doing or offering the same services that are needed, Mr. Speaker, which then is quite unfair, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the bill also brings in the responsibility of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which then needs to have a clear database in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor of our migrant workers or Kenyan workers who gotten jobs abroad and are working in those spaces. A clear database, because, Mr. Speaker, it's so shocking today at times, until an individual raises an alarm that they are going through a mistreatment or through challenges with this particular employer, and you move at times to the Ministry of Labor or Foreign Affairs, and they are not even aware that that person traveled for that purpose or anything like that. It becomes a challenge, whereby the loved ones now end up having the pressure, the stress of trying to find one of their own, because the channel that was used is not within the database. So the bill provides that the authority that is going to be in place will ensure total collaboration and ensure that the data is in place for our people who are traveling and moving to work in these foreign countries, Mr. Speaker. Some of the functions is to ensure that they register and regulate private employment agencies, because this is where we've had a challenge, Mr. Speaker. We've had those ones who are genuine, and we've had those ones who are rogue, those ones who are after the money, as we've seen for Kenyans. They take money from Kenyans, and they're not really with the aim of ensuring that they offer what they've tabled to offer, Mr. Speaker. There's need for development of pre-departure programs of the migrant workers. Mr. Speaker, at times, our people get these jobs, and because we have different cultures in the different foreign countries, they are not able to adapt to those cultures. They are not able to understand how they're supposed either to behave. For example, the ones who get the house jobs, Mr. Speaker, it becomes a challenge in how do they dress, how do they handle certain things, because the culture there is different with our own culture, Mr. Speaker. So the authority will be able to ensure that even before departure, there is what we call a pre-departure program for the migrant workers, which will be able to ensure that they are more informed as far as their rights are concerned, more informed as far as the rights of that foreign country, the policies that are in place, where they can be able to report, the channels that they can be able to use in case they have challenges, Mr. Speaker, or in case there's a disagreement between the employer and the employee, because in the current scenario, we find that they run away from this particular employment, and they are nicknamed a name, I don't know, called Kemboy or something like that, which, Mr. Speaker, that is what has been happening. Does it solve the problem? It doesn't solve the problem, Mr. Speaker. Identification and creation of awareness on employment opportunities in any of those foreign countries, so as to facilitate access to the new opportunities. Because I don't believe, Mr. Speaker, someone would just want to work within the same level, the same spot for years and years. They want to transition. It's good when there's a platform for them to ensure that that information reaches them. Verification and approval of job orders, Mr. Speaker, that are emerging from private employment agencies. Continuous awareness for them needs to be offered. The bill ensures that, Mr. Speaker. The authority, Mr. Speaker, that I am proposing will ensure that it monitors the performance of all these agencies. How are they working? How many people have been able to move? How many cases are being received as far as complaints are concerned? And these workers have been able to go through this agent. Example, Agent X. If Agent X has, more issues, then there needs to be, investigations as to why this agency has issues when they, move people to work in the abroad, unlike this particular agent. There needs to be continuous inspection of these particular agencies. Mr. Speaker, the authority also will ensure continuous training. There needs to be standards depending on the different countries that our people go to work. Then there needs to be different facilities that have been set before they leave the country, and they are guided from the cultural norms to the different laws that are within those countries, what they're supposed to do, what they are not supposed to do, Mr. Speaker. There are also to be established a multi-agency committee, Mr. Speaker, on vetting of those private employment agencies. It's very important. And we have proposed that the principal secretary responsible for matters on labor to be one of its representatives, the principal secretary on matters foreign affairs. These two people are very important because, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to labor and the foreign affairs, there needs to be maximum collaboration. There needs to be synergy so as to achieve maximum results, Mr. Speaker. I've also proposed the Commissioner for Labor, the DCI, Mr. Speaker, the Director General on National Intelligence, the Director General on Immigration and his representative, Mr. Speaker, among many others that are proposed, so that there's an offer that ensures security is offered, there's clear data, there's clear information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Labor, what kind of works did they go to do, what kind of contracts as well, Mr. Speaker, are our people signing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also, the bill talks about that the Cabinet Secretary shall submit an annual report to the committee, shall submit an annual report to the CS within 3 months, the CS Labor, the CS Foreign Affairs, a report that the committee will ensure that they have updated list of any new agencies that have been brought about, updated issues that have been raised, how were those issues solved, and the measures that have been put, Mr. Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary also to deploy a labor attaché to serve in each Kenyan mission. This is very important, Mr. Speaker, because currently we have this as a gap. There is a challenge. In the event that our people within the Gulf countries abroad, when issues occur, at times, it's always a challenge to how do they report, how fast is there a response. But when there'll be provision, when this bill passes and there's a provision for the cabinet to deploy a labor attaché to serve in each Kenyan mission, targeting the issue of migrant workers, Mr. Speaker, then definitely we are actually in future going to bring the issues that have been raised over and over with time to 0%, Mr. Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary, also responsible for matters foreign affairs, shall put in place a mechanism to safeguard the welfare of the migrant workers, which include developing strategies for migrants to participate in the development process, so that our people, as I said, that they just don't stick to one place of employment, but they are able to enhance their skills and move to the next level of employment, developing measures to enhance safety and security of migrant workers. Mr. Speaker, through the attaché, the Kenyan mission attaché, the bill provides that they can be able to set a safe house for our people, for our Kenyan people, in the event that an issue occurs, in the event there is harassment, in the event there is a misunderstanding, then provision of a safe house for each and every country where our people are working, it will give them an opportunity to be able to still continue feeling safe and know that the government is still offering security for them, because as we speak, they run away, they are stranded, they don't know where to go to. But in the provision of a safe house, Mr. Speaker, then it ensures that at least they know where to go to, and this is information that they have at hand even before they leave the country. This is information that they have where it is the safe house is located, the contacts for the safe house in the event there is an occurrence and they need to be in that particular place, Mr. Speaker. Still, the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Speaker, shall, for the effective implementation of this section, facilitate information sharing as a means of ensuring continuous engagement between the national and the county governments and the migrant workers. Mr. Speaker, the bill talks about ensuring that at each county level, among the 47 counties within the CC office for labor, there needs to be an officer who's responsible for matters migrant workers, because as much as you have our big airport at JKIA Nairobi here, but our people come from the different counties. In the event they need to go for these trainings, in the event there's an occurrence, so the county offices, the county officer in charge of the migrant workers can be able to assist them. Even these trainings that need to be offered to them the bill talks about that they need to be designated at the different county levels so that our people can be able to get that training at the lower level, Mr. Speaker, before even they come to Nairobi and prepare for their travel. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the bill also talks about in Article 14, a person who intends to operate a private employment agency shall submit an application for private employment agency, county operating license to be respective county executive committee member, Mr. Speaker. As I've said, at the county level, because we are bringing this down, the bill is bringing this down to the county level, the agencies need to be licensed at that county level so that there is what we call this service will have gone down at the mashinani level to our own people, because most of these people are also coming from the counties, the different counties, as much as many are also coming from Nairobi County, where I represent, Mr. Speaker. But at least the bill provides that equally all Kenyans will be able to have equal opportunity as well. A county operating license should be renewed annually, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to go into all the details. The bill is there, Mr. Speaker. And with those many and few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request my good friend, my sister, Senator Hamida, to second. Thank you.
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to second. I move. Mr. Speaker, I want to chip in on this bill, and I feel strongly that the bill is long overdue. We needed the labor issues, the labor immigration and management bill should have been moved it should have been moved early enough. Mr. Speaker, we've been having issues with these labor laws, with the recruitment and agents, the agents who, or maybe I would even call them scammers, who have been really scamming our young, people. Most of them, of course, are women who are taken to, especially. Let me bank on Middle East, and it has been such a nightmare because without these laws, you may find that the recruitment agency has scammed. They have eaten money, and they end up being in the wrong hands, being in wrong people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the bill provides the establishment of Migrant Workers Welfare Fund also, that at least, there'll be a welfare fund for the workers. Mr. Speaker, the bill also provides a bilateral labor agreement appeal against administrative decisions that will be made. And also the establishment of safe houses in the destination countries, Mr. Speaker. It is our pride, Mr. Speaker, when we go to Qatar and find our young boys and girls working there. And they all seem very happy and quite motivated to work. The other time, Mr. Speaker, when I was talking to the Qatar ambassador, he was quite, he told me, how the Kenyans workers are quite energetic and they're motivated, that they do not mind the whole airport of Qatar or Doha to have Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are hardworking citizens. And of course, we want them to have the best working out of the country in diaspora. And so we are saying these labor laws should, the best thing looking at the bill is that it's going to provide for the departure, the pre-departure procedures for foreign employment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also the biggest issue that we always have workers trying to come back home, and they're unable to do that due to their passports have been confiscated, or their bosses have taken advantage of our girls, Mr. Speaker. So you may find that they're unable to travel back because they don't have their passports. So I'm hoping and praying that this bill shall take such matters into consideration, especially the establishment of the workers' welfare, because then there'll be some, that is under the PFM Act, the repatriation of the migrant workers. Otherwise, we end up, having girls most of them actually are girls, that are in hospital. They have, some of them have tried to commit suicide. Some of them have tried, to do many other things. Or maybe the same, their bosses who have employed them will take advantage of them. But unfortunately, at that time, when you're looking for the agents who recruited these workers, are nowhere to be found. So that's what I'm saying. I call them scammers. They have eaten their money and they have, used them and dumped them. So it's really unfortunate how workers are taken advantage back in other countries. I wouldn't just peg it on one of the countries. Maybe most of the time they talk about Saudi Arabia. But then I would say maybe some of the Middle East countries where the workers are taken advantage of. So this bill, Mr. Speaker, seems that it's going to take care of all the pertinent issues that need to, for our Kenyan workers who have gone out, should I say, that diaspora, to be their shield in some of the provincial that are going to take care of them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I feel that even the part that the bill exempts certain classes of persons from, that pre-departure, it gives it, and provides an enforcement of act and provides the appointment of inspectors that the functions that inspectors and their functions and powers, Mr. Speaker. So I feel the bill really, it's a good bill that will mandate the national government to consult country governments in creation of registers and in investment opportunities. I think this is what one of the CSS was dealing with. And when I spoke to the ambassador for Qatar, he spoke highly of how we are so organized when it comes to labor. And since I think we have more or less an MOU for labor, and he feels that that area has been taken care of very well. And I think I should say our CS for labor is doing so far a good job in terms of taking more or less having genuine taking care of genuine labor issues for the immigrants. Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill, and whenever we see our young girls getting hurt, and or maybe even we only receive dead bodies most of the time from our young girls who have decided, to go and support their families, so working abroad, and it seems it's so disheartening when getting such news or receiving such bad issues, of course, of death, and our girls are unable to be taken care of. Mr. Speaker, I also propose that we need to have all these workers are registered, Mr. Speaker, and the registration part of it, Mr. Speaker, that there should be, even if there's cancellation for any registration, then it needs to be provided. What I'm saying is that we need to have a proper data of our Kenyan workers who are working abroad in terms of the immigrants, the labor immigrant workers who are working abroad. So we need to have the data of which city they have gone to which company, organization, or house that they are working with. And it seems at times that we don't have. So you find, when you find the scammers, some of the agents who are scammers that have disappeared, they've taken the money and disappeared, and yet our children are suffering out there. Then, of course, there are issues. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this bill, and I do second, since I feel that the bill speaks to our boys and girls, the workers who have gone abroad, and it will take care of the same small issues that they've been having, especially with the agents. Mr. Speaker, I support the bill, or I second the bill. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Labor, Migration and Management number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2024, be now read a second time. Senator Danson Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to support this bill. Mr. Speaker, I start by thanking the sponsor of the bill, the Honorable Senator Tabitha Mutinda, and the team that worked with her, Mr. Speaker, to bring this legislative proposal or bill before this House. Mr. Speaker, a legislative proposal always responds to a certain need that exists within the country. And Mr. Speaker, there is a need to regulate these labor employment bureaus, because the main purpose of this bill, Mr. Speaker, as was stated during the moving of the bill, is that this bill is to create an act of parliament to provide for the regulation of private employment agencies and the recruitment of workers within and outside Kenya. It is also supposed to safeguard the rights and welfare of job seekers and migrant workers, and for connected purposes. Mr. Speaker, just before I got elected into the Senate, I traveled all the way on instruction of my client in the practice of law, all the way to a border court in Zambia. We had to land in Lusaka and go across Zambia, all the way towards the border near Tanzania there, where some young men, in fact there were 10 of them, coming from my county in Tana River, had been arrested because they were heading towards South Africa. And they were going to go for an employment opportunity that had arisen there, but they had been misguided in the manner in which they could reach the Johannesburg, enter there and start working. Mr. Speaker, some of them were accompanying their friends. They had been misled into believing that they can just go with them using some other panya routes to reach South Africa and start work, because whatever they had been promised there is much better than what they were doing in Tana River County. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a need for us to look at the opportunities that employment is being offered outside Kenya, and what we can regulate here to make sure our kids and our young people are not arrested when they are going that side. We struggled a lot in that particular case, and at the end we succeeded in getting those children, young men, let me call them, back to Tana River County at a great cost, Mr. Speaker. People had to sell their cows, some had to sell their land so that we can manage the court processes in Lusaka and then in Chinsali at the border between Tanzania and Zambia, and then get these people transported all the way back to Nairobi. Why? Because they had mishandled the opportunity for employment back in Johannesburg. Mr. Speaker, there's that category of young people and young ladies who want to go out and they don't know how to access those job opportunities, and they are seeking shortcuts. And Mr. Speaker, there is also the other category of people who set up bureaus in the name of creating employment or searching for employment opportunities, when in fact, Mr. Speaker, they had no intention whatsoever of helping our people. Their intention originally, and it remained so, that they wanted to con these people and con the young men. So, Mr. Speaker, this law by Senator Mutinda is speaking to this need, is addressing this legislative. It is a legislative proposal trying to solve a problem that is there within our country, within our society right now. Why? Because many young men and many young people and women are not necessarily, thinking like Kenyans. They are, in a sense, global citizens. Some of them have gone to study here in Kampala and they are back. Some have studied in Tanzania and they are back. Some have not made the cut to enter some colleges here in Kenya, but they have entered in neighboring countries and obtained their degrees. Some can speak different languages, and they have intention of going to live elsewhere, Mr. Speaker. So because of that desire, some people cash on it. So this need is being addressed by this legislation. Mr. Speaker, that is one case I have dealt with and solved. There's another case, Mr. Speaker, which was being handled in this criminal court here that deals with transborder crime. And in that case, Mr. Speaker, I was representing a director of an employment agency who had been accused of trafficking. In fact, they put very serious crimes against that director. Why? Because according to the DCI who brought that case, they believed that the clients of that lady were not in fact going to work, but they were being trafficked from Kenya to another country. So, Mr. Speaker, because we struggled a lot because the law around here was not set as it should. So we had to produce so many documentation, prove so many things before we convinced the prosecution that this was a genuine person who has been doing this labor recruitment for a long time, and we had to produce list of so many people who have been able to be assisted by that firm, and that there was no justification to close that firm. There was no justification to accuse them of trafficking. Mr. Speaker, the director, after some struggles and whatever, was also left free. So this law also protects genuine firms of employment that are doing genuine work. They are able to promote and protect the private employment bureaus that are genuine, that are seeking to help Kenyans secure those opportunities. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very happy with this law. I am very happy with the way it has been drafted. It has addressed a number of things that have been questions that we face all the time when we travel out of this country. Mr. Speaker, I have had the fortune of serving as an assistant minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I traveled many, many countries on behalf of the Republic of Kenya. And many times when we meet these young men and young women, because ordinarily when the minister comes, after all the formalities, the ambassador always organizes an opportunity to meet with Kenyans, not just the embassy staff, but the people who live there, the movers and shakers around where you have visited. And they keep telling you about problems about documentation, about how they are being treated in those countries. Mr. Speaker, many, many places when you visit in these embassies, you will find military attachés, you will find education attachés, you will find trade attachés. But this law here now proposes that we must now have compulsory labor attaches in these embassies that we are keeping in various capitals in this world. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is a good law. I would urge senators, colleagues, to support this law because it is answering to a problem. I know that once this law is established, we will have a better system of protecting our children who want to work outside. Mr. Speaker, I cannot finish my submissions here without congratulating the current Minister for Labour. The current Minister for Labour, Mr. Speaker, the CS has gone out. He has not been Nairobi-centric. He has gone out in various counties. And in those counties, he has preached this government policy, the current government policy of encouraging labor migration. He has gone out there and said that we have maybe 1,000, 2,000 opportunities for drivers outside this country. We have 1,000 opportunities for people to work in the hospitality industry. We have nurses that we want, but these are the qualifications. And this is how you are supposed to process. This is what you are supposed to do. I know, Mr. Speaker, we've had problems, and I remember the minister also appearing in committees and being questioned about some of these employment bureaus. But, Mr. Speaker, with this law now in place, I think a lot of the problems that have bedeviled this industry of labor migration and implementation of this policy will come down. Mr. Speaker, one of our own former colleagues here had raised a lot of questions, and indeed there were a lot of exchanges between herself as senator and the minister. And Mr. Speaker, it created a lot of fear, and even people started wondering, are these jobs outside for real? Mr. Speaker, I remember coming out of the Senate and meeting people outside there who are stating clearly that they have been conned. Their money has gone and they have not been able to report to their stations and the promised jobs. Mr. Speaker, those kind of sentiments and uncertainties will be solved by this law. When this bill becomes law, I can now confidently say that I'm dealing with an employment bureau that is recognized by the Kenya government. It is registered and it has passed through the vetting and validation process of this committee that has been set by law. So that when I release or I help some people from my county in Tana River to come to Nairobi, I am certain that I'm not going to be dealing with conmen or bureaus that are fake, that are out to fleece our young people of the little that they have. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this law is responding to a need that is there, is responding to the confusion that has been caused by the labor migration policy, and it is settling the questions that have arisen on the implementation of this policy across the country. So now we will not be having fake employment bureaus. Now these bureaus will all have to be registered, and you can see it is representatives of the DCI, it is Director of Labor, it is very senior government people, including Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who will be vetting in this committee for you to get a license. And that license can be revoked because it's been given to you under certain conditions. If you don't fulfill those conditions, then you will not be able to operate. And Mr. Speaker, this solves a big problem. This settles a big problem. And our people now will have confidence that this labor migration policy under the President Ruto's government is not just something that was being talked in the air and that after 2032 and he's gone, this thing will die. No. Now we have a signature legislation that is going to anchor this policy, and this legislation is going to help our people, and certainty is going to be created across the areas where people are going to seek jobs. So, Mr. Speaker, With those many remarks, I want to again thank the sponsor of this motion. I want to say it is a good bill. I want to urge senators to support it, and I want to tell the country that this is where we shall go. We are moving away from uncertainty to a situation where there is certainty. We are also moving away from fake bureaus to a situation where we have now registered bureaus that are recognized by law. You can Google them and you know them and you deal with entities that will assist our people. We are moving from a position where we never had labor attaches. Now we are going to be having labor attaches. Even when your children go out there to work, there will be a place where they can put their complaints, they can have their rights asserted if their employers are not treating them right. So we thank the sponsor of this law, and with those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. I call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For me, it's a really great evening. There's a bill, Mr. Speaker, that as my colleagues have arose, the seconder, Senator Hamida. Mr. Speaker, these are things that attach our people very dearly. She's been able to share some of the examples, and I really want to thank Senator Hamida for her great input, and I know she's a champion when it comes to matters health and anything that affects our young people. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank Senator Mungatana. Senator Mungatana has been able to give us two great examples of what he came across when he traveled. As far as the issue of migrant workers are concerned, the court cases that he's been able to represent, Mr. Speaker, in his other life. When it came to the issues of a recruitment agency, Mr. Speaker, these are issues that are affecting our people each and every day, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank him very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I really pray and hope that my colleague senators, as they'll be voting for this bill, they'll also find time to get to understand what is in the bill, because I've really ensured that it covers at least 100% of all the areas that are needed to bring synergy, to bring solutions to the issues affecting the migrant workers. Mr. Speaker, Article 15 of the bill talks about the authority establishing an online portal. And Mr. Speaker, this online portal will be able to facilitate the registration of all private employment agencies. We'll also be able to onboard all the immigrant workers or migrant workers. We'll also be able to give them a platform to be able to access more opportunities, more job opportunities, provide information on matters clearance, approvals, and registration for requirements of the migrant worker, so that we have a clear and clean database, Mr. Speaker. If a person contravenes the law as far as not having the requisite operating license of a private agency, Mr. Speaker, will be subjected to a fine not exceeding 10 million or a 10-year imprisonment, Mr. Speaker. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the bill also talks about the national government may conclude a memorandum of understanding, a bilateral labor agreement, or any other instruments with another country, and this will ensure and enhance safe and fair and orderly migration, increment of opportunities, safeguard the welfare and rights of the migrant workers.
Another thing that I want to highlight, Mr. Speaker, on conclusion, is that any memorandum of understanding, bilateral labor agreements, and any other instrument under Section 1 shall be concluded on the basis of the following principles, among others: promotion of fair recruitment, protection of migrant workers' rights, safety and human dignity of migrant workers within the country, protection of labor and any other human rights of Kenyan migrant workers in the concerned country, respect to international standards, migrant workers' rights to information and right to redress if their rights are violated. Mr. Speaker, the bill is vast. The bill covers everything as far as their safety, their growth, opportunities, online data, security. Everything is covered for this bill. That is what is now going to change the perception that our migrant workers are being trafficked. We are now going to have to sieve the genuine and the rogue agencies once and for all, Mr. Speaker. And with those many few, I really appreciate my colleagues. I appreciate this day. It's the second bill that, Mr. Speaker, I'm moving. My first bill is in the National Assembly, awaiting a second reading. And so I request that the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. Thank you.
Very well, Senator. The division will be deferred. Clerk, read the next order.
Order number 19, the Street Naming and Property Addressing System Bill, Senate Bills number 43 of 2024, second reading.
That order is deferred. Next order.
Order number 20, motion, reports of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relation on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma counties, arising from statements sought by Senator Godfrey Otsotsi MP and Senator David Wakoli MP.
That order is deferred. Next order.
Order number 21, motion, progress report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration into an inquiry on the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of state agencies in Kenya.
That order is deferred. Next order.
Order number 22, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Energy on its county oversight and networking engagements in Wajir County.
That order is deferred. Honourable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 5th June 2025 at 2:30 p.m.